back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 80. Your weekly dose of WardiTV action. I'm of course just VIP, with you and joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all to our weekly Open Cup. Once again, bearing in mind this is a replay cast, we no longer do cover. We used to cover this event live, but now it does start very late. Starts late, it ends late as well. So we have taken to covering this event via replays a week after the fact, or at least some time after the fact. So we're catching up. We're catching up with week number 80 of the WardiTV Monday. Let's go. We're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals, and we have a bit of a special guest here. Let's go. We do have Lambo showing up. For those who are maybe unaware, for those that may be unfamiliar, for those that are maybe unfamiliar with Lambo, Lambo, he rarely plays in Open Cups. There's a decent group of players that don't really compete in Open tournaments or in online events, referring to players like Lambo, Laser, Big Gabe is another big one as well. Players don't really compete too often in the Open Cup circuit, so it is always a very nice kind of surprise whenever we do get a player like that competing and signing up and actually taking part in an open circuit like this. So let's go. Let us go. We have our PvZ ahead of us. We're going to be jumping into Classic versus Lambo. Not an easy opponent whatsoever here for Lambo, and we'll see if he can hold his own. We'll see if he can keep up, as game one is going to be on Winter Madness. Let us go as we are going to be jumping in to our best of three. Bearing in mind that our plan here tonight is to cover the quarterfinals, into the semis, into the grand finals thereafter. Here's our plan. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the German Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. Representing Shopify Rebellion, it is Lambo. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be jumping into our fresh series, our fresh best of three. Let's settle on it. From here, our eyes are going to be on Lambo mainly. Again, because it's so rare to see Lambo play and compete, I'm curious to see how he has been approaching ZVP as of late. Is he joining the rest of the players? What I mean by that is that every other player out there right now is just non-stop all-inning. 2-base all-ins, 3-base all-ins, and ZVP is very common and very standard. I will say that here on Winter Madness, the map is larger and all-ins are less effective, so there's a higher chance that we might embrace a longer and later game. I'm curious to see if Lambo does decide to try to be more tech-heavy instead. There are some builds and there are some styles where you can go for a heavy drone count, a heavy tech count, try to go into Hydras early on, and then try to rush into lurker tech, and then try to hit a lurker timing instead. That is another viable option that is available to our players, and that we have seen from time to time from players like Lambo. So I'm curious if that's the plan here on Winter Madness, or if we have another kind of idea moving forward. I know that for some time last year, especially with the change to the Microbial Shroud, there were a bunch of players who were messing around with the Ultralisk and with Ultralisk Microbial Shroud as well. They were playing around with that a little bit. I know that Lambo was one that was prevalent with that in ZVP, but again, that was last year. So we'll see. We'll see how our players do approach things. So far, Classic being as annoying as possible, delaying some mining. Just being annoying here, just being disruptive. Back at home, soon to go for his tech of choice. We're expecting a Stargate opener out of Classic. Classic, he is willing to mix it up and willing to go into earlier Twilight Council timings and earlier aggressive builds. That is true, but for the most part we're expecting a Stargate into an Oracle into a third base, and then from there we'll keep an eye on the Twilight Council timing. If he throws it down early without a Forge, that's indicative of early Blink or early Glaives. If he throws it down with a Forge, indicative of +1 in Glaives, or sorry, +1 in Blink I meant to say, into a standard mid game. We'll keep an eye on the timings here. So far, Stargate is thrown down. Everything's looking normal. Likewise, we'll keep an eye on Lambo and his gas and how he does spend it. So far, link speed does pull out. Everything's looking normal. From here, we will eventually pull back in once we get up to 2-base saturation, and then it's going to be up to Lambo to either head towards a Bailey Nest, a Roach Warren, or a Lair, or an early Evo Chamber. Depending on the tech, does kind of dictate the style of play he wants to embrace. As a probe is called out, third base cannot be taken. We're calming down. Now we're entering the early game here. Getting into the early game, it's going to be up to Classic to disrupt, to be active with these adepts, bearing in mind that 2 adepts will one-shot workers, so adepts are going to be threading the bases here. It's going to be up to Lamb to keep up. The Oracle is going to be soon thereafter also joining the fray, also typically joining these adepts. Now Classic has to be careful. If these adepts do go down, he shades in. Oh my god. He has to be very careful here. If the adepts do get shut down, then that means that Classic, his third base is going to be vulnerable to a link counter attack. As you ideally want to preserve these drones, these adepts, as one drone does go down. Nice pickup, adept does shade away. So far, so good for Classic. As here comes that second adept. Link speed just now going to be kicking in. As the Oracle does move out, there's that third expansion. Classic applying pressure. And he will not commit. Does cancel the shade, Adepts race back home to defend, and the Oracle does tag in. Adepts tag out, Oracle tags in. Catching out one, catching out two drones, and pulls away. So 3 drone kills in total, 1 from the Adepts, and 2 from the Oracle. So far, again, nice damage here by Classic. Back at home, he can now expand, he can build on up. Behind this, we're waiting for our Twilight Council timing. Overlord goes in for a scout. So far sees nothing. There it is. Early council here at the natural. Usually it's in the main base, but it's thrown down at the natural to avoid the Overlord. But again, this is very early. Very, very early here. So we're expecting either Glaives or early Blink, one or the other. But aggression nonetheless from Classic. Bearing in mind that Classic is going to be delaying his own Forge in favor of these upgrades and these Warpins. So late upgrades for Classic, late +1. Oracle does dip in. Going for more damage. So far the Queens are keeping up, and that's going to be 1 more drone kill. Just the 1. As both Oracles, they do survive. They do pull out. Extra gateways being thrown down. We're going for a delayed Forge, so we're going into Blink. It's going to be early Blink here from Classic, early gateway explosion as well. With this, Classic can be very assertive and very aggressive early on, earlier than normal. It also means that Blink will be done in time if Lambo were to go for like a German taxi, a 2 base all in, 2.5 base all in, then Blink is going to be done very early in time to defend. But otherwise, Classic is going to be looking for map control and aggression and disrupting the 4th base timing of Lambo. Speaking of, here comes the 4th base of Lambo, and this will be the base that Classic does pressure. So back at home, Jesus, that's a lot of gates. We're getting up to 6 gateways early on here, and there's a chance here that Classic doesn't take his gases, throws down 2 more gateways, and goes for an 8-gate 3-base all-in. If he takes gases, that's a sign of further tech. Speaking of tech, there it is, Temple Archives. Okay, we're not going for the all-in. We're not going for the all-in. It's still a lot of gateways, and it's going to be a decent amount of pressure. But Classic is taking his gases and is taking him towards Storm, in towards the mid-game. So Classic is building up. Likewise, we do see a later Eva Chamber and an early Roach Warren. Early Warren was for Adepts, just in case. There were no Adepts, so a bit of a waste of resources with the Roach Warren. Then we go into the Eva Chamber, into the Hydrogen, in towards our mid-game as well. With the later Eva Chamber, higher chances +1 range, not +1 melee. Into a Hydra heavy composition. Now, if you recall, something that we theorized at the beginning of this game was whether or not Lambo will go for a big 3-base all-in, or whether he decides to be quite quick when it comes to his tech, into Hydras, into Lurker tech. So far, we have a safety amount of Hydras on the way. So far, we have drawn up to 3-base saturation, and we're taking up, into Hive, into Lurkers. So this is going to be a Lurker rush here from Lambo. It is a very kind of tech-heavy style, as the 5th base is going to be denied. Nice cancel. Denies the 5th, rotates around, Oracles are moving in, and we'll see if he can deny the 4th. As the Hydras are in position. So far, so good. We're massing up those Hydras. And basically, there's going to be a big power spike for Lambo once he does get into his own Hive tech and his own Lurker tech. Until then, it's going to be up to Lambo to survive. Survive, Patton. Ooh, does kill one of the Oracles. Does kill both. Very nice catch. The 1-2 Oracles go down. A Classic does miscontrol. The miscontrol pattern. And there it is. There's that Lurker den. As we mentioned, that is the win condition here. That is the goal for Lambo, is survive until Lurkers. This also means that Classic is free to expand. Because of this is a late 4th. We could have seen a much earlier 4th base from Classic, upon realization that Lambo is being more defensive. High Templar are massing. Storms are available. Bearing in mind that Storms will dominate, and again, there's still a window in time here. There's still a period where there are no Lurkers to zone away the Grand Army and to zone away the High Templar. And here comes that Prism for the push. So Classic is gearing up. He's gearing up. He's soon to be moving out. Lambo, Spine Coil is being thrown down. He has to secure this 4th base. He has to hold on to it. If it breaks, he won't be able to afford Hive Tech, and he won't be able to afford the Mass Lurker. As the Hive is finishing up, Lurker Den is finishing up as well. Typically, players here wait until Lurker upgrades before making any Lurkers. Ooh, the Hydras get caught. No, it's 3. Yeah, 3 Hydras go down. Massive pickups. Lings, they try to come in from behind, but remember the Storm. Yeah, Storm is available. Plenty of Storms, actually. Prism does bypass the Hydras. Ooh, did I speak too soon? Another Storm comes in, and we just can't go through the center here. Brutal positioning. Yeah, Lambo is denied. The army's moving in. There's only half the army for Lambo. He's going to try to flank, but there are so many High Templar available here. So many Storms. And does Lambo surround, or does Classic break each half of the army one at a time? Yeah, he goes for it. He goes for the Hydras. He wants them. He wants the Hydras. He blinks in. The Hydras, they have to get the hell out of here. Storm from behind. Zoning away Lings, and these Hydras are falling. Yeah, massive losses here. As every Hydra's going to go down. Oh, tries to morph in the Lurkers. They're going to be denied. That is 11 Hydras going down and 1 Lurker. Or 1 attempted Lurker. And we have Lair Tech Lurkers, 2. Only 2 Lair Tech Lurkers. Storm in the ramp. Only 2 Lurkers, so we can just avoid them. Yeah, we can just walk away. We can just walk away. We can rotate over towards the 5th. Detection's not quite available. He's also rallying in. Storm's once again mainly zoning. Yeah, just mainly a zoning Storm. Army gets into the mineral line. Drone's going to be going down. Hydras are pushing in, but again, there's what, 2 more Storms left. What a mass. I believe it's 1 more. Again, still no detection. Observers on the way. Oof, Storm lands. And there's almost 1 more. There's the recall. Yeah, Storm lands. There's the recall back home. The High Templar. 1 High Templar goes down. The rest escape. He gets away. He does get away. 12 drone kills. So far, good damage done by Classic, and he's already switching into Tempest. So that window in time where Lurkers could dominate, that window's already closed, which is crazy. Like, the Hive Tech Lurkers are still on the way, and Lambo, he did sustain some heavy losses, losing a lot of Hydras, losing some mineral lines, losing drones. He's now building up into Lurker Tech, but Classic already takes to the skies. Nice contamination. Very nice contamination here. But the window here where Lurkers can actually get damage done is closing, and now we have to switch to Spire Tech into Corruptors. Sticking with Hydra Lurker Viper, it can do well when there's a low amount of Tempest, but I'm concerned as we have so far 2, soon to be 5 Tempest. Yeah, 5 Tempest, Mass Immortal. There it is, Spire now gets thrown down, and it's on Lambo to survive until Spire Tech. Now, right now he's being active. The goal here is to distract Classic, to maybe catch some units out of position, to force Classic back home. Defensively, Lambo will struggle, so he's got to ideally force Classic back home instead. Army's revealed, catching out some Zealots. At the same time, Lambo pushing in between the bases. He gets spotted. Classic, where are we going? Again, he's out of position, he's turning back around. And Lambo doesn't get up the ramp, but this is fine. Like, this is good. Lambo, sure, he doesn't get up the ramp, he doesn't get much damage done, but again, he's distracting Classic, and as long as he gets out, it's fine. He's not gonna get out, is he? No! Again, I snipe. Observer gets sniped. We gotta get out of here. At the same time, Lambo pushing in. There's a Templar to defend, but no Storm. NG overcharge. Okay, there's the NG overcharge. Classic buying time. Oh, free damage on the army. It's going to be how many? That's going to be 4 Lurkers going down. Ay, ay, ay. Nice counterattack, though. Yeah, decent counterattack. It looks like Classic, he does abandon. Yeah, he abandons the base, and he just goes for it. He's just going for the kill. He believes he has enough. He ignores the expansion. He could have turned around. No, he recalls. He saves it. Okay, he saves the base, and with the rest of his reinforcing army, he might actually catch these Lurkers. He does. Yeah, Lurker goes down. Classic, he defends, and from here, he can keep pushing. How many Lurkers do we have to defend? 6. 6 Lurkers. My Kerbo Shroud is on the way. That will help, but that's not ideal. Like, my Kerbo Shroud, it's a bit of a stopgap. It's a bit of a band-aid solution. And it will help somewhat. Classic claiming his 5th. The 5th is going to be cancelled. But it's all about this main push. Now, bearing in mind that base recall is now on cooldown, right? Base recall is now on cooldown. Gets cancellation. Classic is pushing forward. Lambo once again counterattacking. Like, this is important here. Lambo cannot fight this. He cannot fight this head-on, so just non-stop counterattacks, non-stop run-bys. That's the best that Lambo can hope for, and he can force a base trade. He can try to force a base trade. Ooh, feedbacks on the Infestors. Ultras, they called out. They're in grade 2 Ultras. And we're going full base trade at this point. We're going full base trade. 4th base goes down, 3rd base under fire. At the same time, Classic takes down the 4th base of Lambo. And we're going to keep going. We can't just turn around at this point. Where are we headed? As Classic, he does rotate towards the fringe bases. Locust pushing forward. Classic making a stand here at the natural. I feel like this natural was exposed. We could have just pushed directly into the natural base, but Classic's playing safe. He's playing it safe. Going for the fringe bases instead. Takes down the 5th. Lambo down to 3 expansions. But again, I do feel like we could have been a little bit more assertive here. Classic turns around. He turns back around. He's coming back home. Lambo, he has to try to get out of here with whatever he can. Does skirt around the left-hand side. And can he get out? Can he? No, he cannot. He gets caught. Yeah, he gets caught out here. Lurkers do fall. Now he's pinned. Detection has arrived. Oof. And Lambo, he'll lose everything. Yeah, he'll lose the entire army here. Now, Lambo, he is on a 3-base economy. Classic's on 2 bases, so the economies are quite close. What's helping Lambo, though, he has top right. He has top right, and he saved the drones. This is a crucial base here for Lambo. This will allow him to actually build up reinforcements and have a standing army. Now, of course, we do still favor Classic. Classic, his main army is still stronger. As I mentioned, that's the reason why for the past, 6 minutes, Lambo's been avoiding the fight. Like, if Lambo, he cannot fight head-on, and he still cannot fight head-on. I say that. How many ultras do we have? 10. Okay, so the goal of the ultras here is to break through the ground army and to get on top of the High Templar. If he can clean up the High Templar, then he can win the game, or he can at least win the ground battle. We have how many Corruptors? 7. 7 Corruptors. There is potential here to try to collapse in and flank the army. This can work. This can work here for Lambo. But he's going to be careful. Like, he needs to be able to surround and come in at the right moments, come in at the right time. If he goes in like one portion at a time, then he's just going to be completely shut down. Likewise, Neurals might be important here to neural some of the Archons. More so than Fungals. Is Neural available? No. Okay, never mind. So we can Fungal. We can Fungal, and I guess we can Microbial Shroud. Top right goes down. Am I blind? Do we really not have Neural? Yeah, no Neural. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Fungal's the best bet. Does catch one Archon. Lings, they do backstab. Nice catch. Catching out 7 probes. Probes going down. Classic, he is super maxed. He has a massive army. Jesus. As he saves on a lower probe count. And Classic is being so patient, by the way. I feel like another Protoss player, even another top Protoss like herO and MaxPax, would have pushed by now. Like, they would have just committed to the base trade and committed a little bit harder. But Classic being so patient, he's like, you know what? I would just take a fresh base. I would just get a fresh mining base. I would just secure myself. I'm going to rotate, deny any fresh expansion from the Zerg player. Just at scale. This is giving Lambo the opportunity to actually build up his forces, and there it is. Neural now begins. Now it can be a factor in the next fight once it finishes. But this is giving Lambo a chance to actually have like a solid fight himself. It all comes down to the main fight. It all comes down to the army control and the army positioning. See, these High Templar being so ambitious. As I mentioned, the goal for the Ultras is to get on top of the Templar and shut them down. If the Templar do fall, then the air army will have an easier time without any storms to worry about. In saying that, we have to be careful with the Archons, sorry, with the Corruptors because of the Archons as well. Like, the Archons, they protect the Tempest quite well. That's why the ground fight is so important. It's the only way to deal with the Archons on High Templar first, and then collapse in on top of the Tempest. There we go. This is a better angle here for Classic. Lambo, he wants to fight out in the open, luring him out. Classic, he wants to fight with SimCity with this with these choke points, with better terrain. Takes northern base. Another fresh expansion. Jesus. Classic throwing down more cannons, more shield batteries. Pushing through the center. We have a greater Spire now on the way, +3. We see that Lambo is catching up with upgrades. Top right isn't spotted. Main army does make it through the center. He gets in. He gets through the center. Now he has a trade wind in his favor. Fungo does land. Mass Neural here on the Immortals. Oh, but the feedbacks. Yeah, feedbacks the next. Mass Storm here on the Ultras. Oh my god, the storms. Yeah, he storms everything. We attempt a micro shot, but the Ultras are going down. Yeah, the Ultras are falling one after the other. There's only one Ultra left down to 0-0 Ultras, and Classic dominates the fight. Kills everything. The Ultras, the Corruptors, there's nothing left. And again, very patient play here by Classic. Cleans up the army. What did Classic lose? He lost the Mothership. He lost Archons for sure. But the main force still breaks through. And we have 11 Ultras on the way. 11 more Ultras. Ooh. Recalling topside, knocking down another expansion. Not bad. So Classic takes down 1, 2 expansions, recalls up and takes down a 3rd base. So 3 bases go down. And Classic is on 4. Lambo also on 4. It does favor Classic. Classic, he basically has 2 fresh bases, 2 fresh bases mining. Lambo, he has 1.5, or 1 1/3. As he's remaxed with Ultras. And Classic, he can just chill. Remember, he won the last fight, he preserved his army, he has the better economy, so he just chill, calm down, and remax. Of course, still rotating. Mothership's being rebuilt. But once again, I feel like if we were casting herO after that fight, herO would have kept pushing into the natural. He would have kept going. Classic, you just chill. You know what? I'm gonna just back up. I'm gonna rotate. Play this out. Okay, fair enough. Link's getting caught. And Classic has been looking very comfortable for the past like 10 minutes. Just been chilling. Now when it comes to the main fights, what do we have left? 0 Corruptors, there's 7 Infestors. Depending on the High Templar and how they use, like the Infestors, they could make or break a fight here. We saw the attempted Mass Neural earlier, but he just got feedbacked. But if we have less High Templar, then maybe we can make this work. By collapsing in, neuraling the Immortals. The scary part of the Sky Toss, the fact that there are no Corruptors, there's no attempted anti-air. I mean, Lambo's broke. It's time. Lings just try to collapse in. Classic is nearby. Again, Classic has just been rotating this entire time and more than happy to just wait until he perfects his army. There are so many Immortals. There's more Immortals than there are Ultras, which is insane. There are 13 Immortals. 13. You just chunk away at the Ultras. Okay, Classic is pushing forward. Yeah, he's got the Concave. Ultras, they commit in. Yeah, into the Concave Storms. They connect. Feedbacks as well on the Vipers. Sorry, on the Infestors. Nice feedbacks, nice storms. Ooh, bit of movement command. Does move going forward there. Oh, the Blinding Clouds, true. Not bad. Yeah, not bad Blinding Clouds. Ultras, they break on through. They clean up almost every single Immortal. And what about the Sky Toss? We have no gas. Oh. So we were worried about this, and again, the Sky Toss army does persist. We have 2 Corruptors on the way. Nothing else shoots up, by the way. But really nice Blinding Clouds. Like, again, I thought they moved Command forward, but no, the Blinding Clouds actually pushed the Immortals forward, and that was so much wasted DPS. So very nice Blinding Clouds. Despite that, these bases are going to be falling. Oof. Catching up 2 Ultras. Oh no, the Infestor. Gets every Infestor. Corruptors are being thrown away. We can't afford to lose this. Like, not in this kind of low eco game state. Oof. Not like this. GG. GG gets called. Classic overwhelms, and Classic takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Lambo, he had a very impressive fight towards the end. Unfortunately, he had 0 Corruptors, so even though he did win the battle on the ground, and again, the Vipers, the Blinding Clouds, did some heavy lifting there. Very impressive fight. He was able to overwhelm the Immortals, able to waste, like, what, 2-3 volleys of DPS there from the Immortals as well, but the Sky Toss army did persist, and Lambo had no answer. He had no answer. He was broke, of course. He had no resources. GG. GG, well played. With that, Classy does take game number 1, and now we're going to be loading to game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Going to be loading into game 2 here, and we'll see what kind of map we load into this time. Bearing in mind that Winter Madness, the map itself, did play a large role when it came to the preferred style. We did mention at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the series, and Lambo, he played right into it, the assumption that on a larger map, the idea of being very tech-heavy, Hydras into Hydra upgrades into fast lurker tech, Lambo, he played straight into it, but Classic was looking very comfortable that game. I mean, Classic, he has the best late game PvZ in the world, better than herO, better than Max. That is what he is known for, and that's where he thrives. But now we're going to be loading into a smaller map. True, this is where Lambo can bounce back. We're going to be loading into Tourmaline. Tourmaline is a hyper-aggressive map, and if there were a map for Lambo to recover and to make a series out of this, it would be Tourmaline. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Shopify. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Leading the series 1-0. And 1 game away from claiming the series and advancing onto the semis. Meanwhile, Lambo back at home. The pressure's on. The pressure is on here. But welcome to Tourmaline. As we mentioned, Tourmaline has a very short rush distance. Short rush distance by ground. Hyper aggression is favored here. The third base is open. The area in between the third and the natural also very open as well. Short rush distance, very direct attack path as well. So we often do see a lot of 2 base all-ins and 3 base all-ins. And we're expecting Lambo to go for an all-in here. Now, the issue, of course, is that because that is expected, we should be seeing Classic be hyper safe. Like hyper safe, hyper defensive. We should be seeing Classic not take any risks and go for potentially early blink into a later. Actually, the same build as last game, Early blink, delayed forge, later upgrades, fast blink stalker aggression in towards storm. That's kind of what we're expecting out of Classic. We'll see what Lambo brings to the table. So far, Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener out of Lambo. We'll keep an eye on the tech of choice. In my mind, we'll be going for... I'll be shocked if we see an early Eva Chamber. An early Eva Chamber typically means like a lot of mid-game aggression and mid to late game play, getting into the early upgrades. So in my mind, it'll make more sense to go for an early Roach run into a Roach all-in, or to maybe make no Eva Chamber whatsoever, go up to 3 bases and go into Mass Hydra. I know that Solar and Shin are very fond of like these Hydra all-ins on 3 bases, where you just skip Eva Chambers, you skip upgrades, and just go Mass Hydra. But we'll see. I know that Lambo often does come up with his own builds, or he does theorycraft quite a bit. So does a lot of theory crafting, and again does have a plethora of builds at his disposal. So we'll see. We shall see. So now Link Speed is on the way. Pulls out a gas, so claiming his third. Everything's looking normal from Lambo. Standard build. So shade in. Shades into the bases. Does get one drone kill. Just the one. The depth goes down. That should trigger Lambo, actually. Depth does fall. That means a weaker defense at the third. For now, though, Lambo's just droning. Okay, Lambo is droning, saturating, not really capitalizing on it. Segment depth has arrived. Extra pair of Lings on the way. Getting it to 6. Getting it to just 6 Ducklings so far. Oracle moves out, and it is an early Eva Chamber. Okay. If you recall, I was like, I'll be surprised and shocked if we see Lambo go for early chamber, but he does go for it. As I mentioned previously, this typically means fast +1 melee into a Ling Hydra heavy composition, in towards a standard early game, and into more of a mid game setup, in towards a later game. Like this is usually for a macro game. Get scouted. Ooh, the Oracle does scout the Eva Chamber, does confirm. And do we mind game? Nice, still going for +1. Okay, still going for +1. Meanwhile, early Twilight Council at a classic. As we assumed, just like last game, early Council. Actually, he can make a choice here. Never mind. I was going to say that the early Eva Chamber screams Mass Ling, and it screams that we're skipping Roaches and Banelings, so you can go into Glaive Adepts, but with the Forge being thrown down, it looks like +1. +1, Blink is on the way. I will say that this Forge is pretty early, considering how early the Twilight Council was, so we might even see Charge instead of Blink. We'll see. We'll see if Classic does mix in Charge. The Oracle sustained a lot of damage. Pulling away, Lair gets thrown down, and yep, there it is. There is Charge. The reason why it looked like Charge is, as we mentioned, it was an early Twilight Council, and we expected the Forge to be later. For the Forge to also be earlier than normal meant that it was not going to be Blink and +1, Charge and +1 instead. But I do like this as an alternative. I was mentioning how Glaives would be favorite here because there's no Roach Warren and there's no Bailey Nest. Likewise, Charge is also favorite here because there's no Roach Warren and there's no Bailey Nest. And that was all deciphered from the fact that Lambo went for the Eva Chamber. Like, Chamber typically means that Ling Hydra. I say typically because there's always exceptions, and if Lambo feels like he's in danger, he can react and respond with, you know, a Bailey Nest. Like, that is still viable, that is still possible. But so far, there's no reaction. As Yerlo did scout the Gateway Explosion. Did not see the Forge. I don't think. Lambo quickly checking, yeah, he didn't see the Forge, he only saw the Gateways. It doesn't have the full picture here. With the Forge being separated from the Twilight Council, it might look like Blink. And he's going Mass Ling, which would be ideal against Blink Stalkers. Oh no! The Oracles pull away, 2 drone kills. Mass Lings are building up. And again, this would be ideal against Blink Stalker aggression. Stalkers, they struggle against Lings. Zealots don't. Oh, the Archons, wow. Yeah, the Archon job does move out. Does move out. Classic and reinforces with Zealots. There's that Bailey Nest, now he knows. So Bailey Nest, Lambo now realizes what's going on, does respond with the Bailey Nest. As he does need it against the Mass Charge lot. Things are moving out. Ooh, the Oracles, they barely do escape. Here come the Zealots, at the same time Lings get across the map. And we just spent the warp in, but the Oracles are racing back home. Yeah, the Oracles, they will defend. Ooh, expansion goes down. Prisma's getting low. So far, the juggling is good. Juggles well and pulls away. It does pull away at the same time. Lings, they do bust into the bases. Getting 3, 4 probe kills so far. Can we get 5? Can we get 6? We can! Oh my god, we're getting out of hand. Yeah, we're getting out of hand here. Crazy damage in the main. 10 probes. Nice counterattack, but Lambo did just lose a base. He lost the base, he lost the expansion. He played out 47 Lings. Classic isn't done. Here comes the main push. It brings everything together here. The Archons, the Warpins, the Mass Zealots, and again, we need Bailings to defend. 0 Bailings. Oh boy. It's going to be a tough hold here. This army is just very fragile. We're heavily reliant on the mass Hydra. Are there enough Lings? Oof. Without Lings, there's no buffer. Without Zerglings, these Hydras are going to go down. And the Lings, they evaporate. Yeah, they just evaporate. Nice focus firing in the Oracles. Very nice target firing. See, Classic is tempted. Tempted to chase. Here we go. 8 Banelings now morphing in. We need those Banelings. And they, looks like they will morph in time. The Zealots, they're clubbing up. Oh my god. Good reaction. Good reaction by Classic. He pulls away just in time. There are 2 Banelings left. There are 2 Banelings. Down to 1. Down to 0. Classic, sorry, as Lambo has momentum. Lambo, you can counterattack. We base rate? Do we commit? Oh, we're going for it. Okay. So Lambo, he commits across the map. So does Classic. Let's go. We avoid each other. The wall is open. Lings, they flood in. At the same time, Classic likewise gets into the mineral line as well. Well, the Prism. Prism overextends. And should go down. Likewise, very nice connections. And Classic gets surrounded. Lambo holds. Lambo, he holds on at the same time across the map. Lambo's overwhelming. And Lambo's looking to force the ace match. Storm is not yet done. Again, the entire army crumbles. And Lambo did go for the all-in. He cut workers early. Cut workers early. Hatcheries just for larva. Ooh, crazy storms. Oh my god. Storms are connecting. Zealots warping from behind, and Lambo, he will lose everything actually. Oh my god, the storms did come into play. Just barely, they were clutch. And Classic has the better economy. Classic, he's on 65 probes against the 56 drones of Lambo. Aye, aye, aye. Again, Lambo, he was all in. He was all in, and that should have worked. That should have worked. The storms were brutal. Classic is holding. Classic is ahead. Aye, aye, aye. And Lambo's in a rough position here. And Lambo, he's just gonna keep pushing. He's moving out again. Lambo, he's desperate for damage. He cannot just macro out of this. He needs to do something. Yes, Lambo does pull away. Lambo does try to rotate. There's so many Archons morphing in. There's minimal High Templar, so minimal storms. True. That is another thing to bear in mind here. And Lambo's going for a split push. Jeez, we have a wall of batteries on the right-hand side, but no real units here to defend. Do we energy overcharge in time? There's the Archon. Lambo, he commits in, peels off to the mineral line, Cannon does defend. And here go the Banelings. Yeah, batteries, they're buying time. Archons respond. Classic, he does keep his main army here in position. Doesn't overreact. So far, sole defensive by Classic. I think Lambo is in trouble. He does run up to 77, and you can see that Lambo, he has no tech. He has no infestation pit, he has no +2. Like Lambo, he has been all in this entire time, and he's still all in, purely on Lingbane Hydra. And he needs to break one of these bases, whether it's the 3rd base, whether it's the 4th base. He needs to kill an expansion. Nice Baneling connection. Oh, not quite. There we go. Nice Baneling connections. Very nice. Yeah, Zealots, they crumble. Shows, again, how crucial the Banelings are. We need those Banelings. Getting run by the right-hand side. Archons, they defend. Lings, they push forward. Into the center of rough Sim City. The wall of batteries once again. And Classic is holding. Classic is holding. One Baneling does get into the mineral line and does connect. Ooh, 17 probe kills. Very nice. Oof. 25 probes go down. Lings, they flood into the main. Classic, the economy here is in shambles, but the main army is what's terrifying. That's what concerns me. Is that main army. Bearing in mind that Lambo, his army is very fragile. And he's up against 6 High Templar. Oh, sorry, down to 4. He's up against 4 Templar. Speaking of, Storm does force him back. Once again, zoning further back here. And then we're trying to gain ground. So far, classic buying time with the Storms. He's rolling. He wants a Templar. Up! Can he get him? No, he cannot. Yeah, doesn't get the Templar. Does bait out one of the Storms. That does force Classic to react, to rotate. Lambo setting up as well on the left-hand side. Remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Classic. Lambo's army isn't getting any better. Remember, he has no +2, he has no infestation, he has no hive, he has no lurkers. The army is staying stagnant when it comes to the quality. Banelings getting called out. Some brutal losses here for Lambo. Ay, ay, ay. Losing all the Banelings. Flanking Banelings, they get shut down. They don't connect. We have another flanking army here on the top side. And again, Classic working on +3. It's going to be +3 versus +1. Likewise, more Archons, more Immortals. Lambo, he does connect well. Trades against the Zealots. Coming in from behind, coming in with the surround. Can he get himself the Templar? He's trying to. Storms do zone away. More Archons, they rotate. There are so many Archons. Yeah, the Archons, they shut down the Ling Bane. And now we're getting on top of the Hydras. We're still lacking Zealots. Yeah, we're lacking Zealots here. We need more charge lots. Zealots are trickling in. It does hold. Oh, speaking of Zealots, there they are. Going for the counterattack, knocking down the expansion, at least trying to. Does cause a distraction. And we're just rebuilding, doing it all over again. Okay. Let's run it back. Oof. Alright, just getting caught. Hydra rotates. High Templar not ready. Does force the Archon. Lings they get into the middle line. No cannon! The cannon wasn't replaced! Oh my god, heavy losses for Classic. Heavy losses. Losing 10 more probes. Once again, we're lacking Zealots here. They're once again across the map. This time they do kill the expansion. True. Look at the base. Nice save there for Classic. I'll save some of the Zealots. And again, this is like a prime example of the soup is lying to you. Like, the soup does lie. Lambo, he's maxed. He's been maxed for quite some time, actually. But again, this is still better for Classic as long as he maintains these bases. Lambo finally starts +2. We have +2 on the way. Oh, Banelings get in. They don't quite make it through there. As one of the Archons is going to be focused down. Banelings, they smash in. 6 probe kills. More Banelings rolling into the third base mineral line. +3 is now finishing. +3 is done. Zealots into the main. Catching in the Queen. Classic is holding on. As Lambo, he's forced back home. He's forced all the way back. See the chat. Life for Classic to get some Colossi. That would kill him. At the moment, it's important to bear in mind there's only one Robo. Only one Robo. There's no Bay. Right now, there's no need to tech up into something like Colossus. Archon, Chargelot, High Templar is a more viable army at the moment. If Classic had a greater economy, then we can discuss like tech switching. But right now, like he's got what he needs. So now he does counterattack. Third base does go down. We can see Classic taking another expansion on the top side. Ooh, catching out all the Hydras. Oh my god. Every Hydra goes down. soon. Classic, I mean, I feel like he probably isn't going to push until he maxes. Like, there's a very high chance that we just stay defensive here, taking another fresh base, just being hyper efficient. So they try to get into the mineral line. Once again, nice hold position micro. Wouldn't work. They work well against Lambo's army composition. I mean, Chargel Archon Storm is doing well. Like, it's there's a reason why Lambo's been maxed for like, was it 8 minutes, and Classic has been taking better fights. Like, he's just been taking better trades. Ooh, as he wants to catch out those Hydras once again, they're exposed. The Hydras are on their own. No Lingbane. There's no Lingbane here. Classic, can he catch him? He's trying to, and he will. Yeah, Hydras are going down. Rough velocity for Lambo. He has pure Hydra. Oh, god. And he's going to lose everything. That Classic. He snowballs out of control. He can just A move at this point. There's nothing to stop the Archons. And Lambo crumbles. Lambo crumbles. Takes down the expansion. Lambo cannot stop this. Not anymore. As Classic hit critical mass. GG gets called, and Classic will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG. Again, Lambo, even though he was maxed out, we tried to emphasize he was all in for the past 10 minutes. He was completely all in. He had no tech, he had no drones, he had no saturation, no gases. He had purely Lingbane Hydra without any further upgrades. He had one Lingbane Hydra as well. And as time went on, it was better and better for Classic as he was taking better fights, better trades. Lambo, he had to break the bases. He had to break the third, he had to break the fourth, but it took so long to actually get into the mineral lines and so long to break the expansions, and he never could deal with the main army. Never could deal with it. GG. Over time, he got outscaled to the point where we hit critical mass of Archons, and then Classic just moves out. He just moves out, he counterattacks, he snowballs out of control. GG. GG, well played. Oh, as Classic does overwhelm. Again, unfortunately, Lambo, he was just in a really rough position that entire game where he just couldn't. He had to, at a certain point, he had to make the rough decision to start to drone and start to take up out of it. But the moment he does that, Classic pushes, because it's Tourmaline, right? Tourmaline, it's a hyper aggressive map, so you're forced to be aggressive. You're forced to keep making units. The moment you don't, I mean, Classic counterattacks, and then it's over, right? So you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Classic does claim the series 2-0. We advance on to the semis, where Classic has his next opponent. Let's go. Up next, we have another PvZ. It's going to be Classic versus Solar. Oh boy. Here we go, and game one is going to be on Tourmaline. Oh, we might see more of the same. As I mentioned previously, Solar, he is hyper cheesy when it comes to ZVP. We expect non-stop all-ins, and especially on Tourmaline, we expect even something similar to what we just saw, where you just drone up to 3-base saturation, you don't tech into Hive, you don't tech into Lurkers, and you stick with a lair tech army instead. And you just send it. And we'll see if Solar goes for the same. We shall see. Otherwise, you can go for Roach-based all-ins, right? You can go for German taxis, Roach-based all-ins instead. But yeah, just to re-emphasize, like, why you would not want to take up into Colossus there is, like, again, if you're spending resources on building up a Robo and a Colossus and a Bay and extend double lands, that's all money and resources you're not spending on Archons and Storm, which is what won Class in the game, right? More Archons, more Storm. That's all you need. And spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Teal Zerg. Oh boy, we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can overwhelm and take down one of the favorite players of the tournament. It is Solar. Let's go. Spawning in the right hand corner, we have the red Protoss player representing Protoss Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Let us go. It is going to be Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Solar, but remember, what we're looking for here is what happens in the mid-game. Do we go early Evo Chamber? Do we go into an early Roach Warren? Early Lair? What is the plan for Solar? Now, something that we have been seeing more from Solar, and if you remember, we brought this up in the last game. Clearly, Lambo didn't go for it, but there is an earlier all-in that Solar and Shin are very fond of, Rogue as well, where you don't go for an Eva Chamber. If you remember, Lambo, he went for 1-1 upgrades. He went early Eva Chamber, where you just skip any... Oh, that was a bit of a pause. Where you skip Eva Chambers, you skip upgrades, you go into up to, I want to say, 2.5 base saturation, 2.5 bases, like around 60 workers, and you commit with Massling Hydra, and you just send it across the map in hopes of killing your opponents. That's going to be in the forefront of my mind for Solar, just because we've seen it so much. Otherwise, we could see the same style that we saw from Lambo, or we could see some roach heavy play instead. Let's see. Regardless, we're expecting aggression out of Solar. We're expecting aggression. When it comes to Classic, we're expecting more of the same. What did we see last game? Well, I should emphasize that we did have an early charge build out of Classic, but that was responsive and that was reactive to the Eva Chamber, right? To the Eva Chamber into the +1 of Solar. That was a reactive kind of build from Classic, which did work very, very well against Lambo. If we don't see an early Eva Chamber, we're expecting early Blink. We go. As we have our Stargate on the way. So with Archons versus Hydras, but I guess my Storms are not as good. Colossus, they have their place in ZVP, but they're a little bit more rare. Usually, if you're going to Colossus, you're going into an all-in. So if you head towards Colossus, just because Colossus do not scale well into a longer game, like High Templar and Archons and Skytos are just superior. So there are players like Creator. And here on Classic, they mix it in like once every couple of weeks. But there is a build where you can go into your 3-base setup, into an early Robo, into an early Bay, into a really fast like 4 Colossus push, where you start Colossus production relatively early, and you don't stop. You get up to 4 Colossus, and then you move out. But again, it's very much so like an all-in. Like you're all in with those 4 Colossus, and your goal is to end the game with that. So it's a very niche build. Outside of that build, you don't often see Colossus in CVP. Just because, again, like when it comes to being outscaled, once you get into Hive Tech and Vipers and Hydra Lurker Viper, Colossus don't hold their own. That's where High Templar, they're not just good when it comes to Storms, but also feedbacks against those spellcasters. So at least at the pro level, in ZVP specifically, Colossus are more niche. Again, you still see them, but they're a little more niche. They're not as niche as Disruptors. True, Disruptors are a lot more... Yeah, you never see them in ZVP. As for now, it is going to be, I should mention, Void Ray first. So Void Ray first to deny vision, deny scouting, and we have an early Twilight Council out of Classic. Now, we're expecting early Blink. We could go into Glaives, but so far we're staying in Gas. So eyes are on Classic. Forge, no Glaives. No Glaives, we're expecting early Blink. Meanwhile, from Solar, no Evo Chamber in sight. Standard play out of Solar. Void Ray does back in. Catching out one drone. The army does have to get out of here. Second drone does go down. And Classic, he does scout the 3rd base. He does check the natural as well. It's going to be an early Roach one here by Solar. Not Evo Chamber. And yep, Blink instead. As I mentioned last game, the only reason why we saw Charge instead of Blink was because of the Evo Chamber. So this is a much more standard follow-up here into Blink Stalkers. Now the question becomes, Solar, this Roach Warren, is it a safety Roach Warren or is he going for an all-in? Keep an eye on Solar. Gas is being taken. He is droning as we speak. An Eva Chamber will be signs of that. Speaking of, there it is. Chamber gets thrown down. That is a sign of further tech, of course, or further upgrades of Hydras. So it looks like this is just safety. Just a safety Roach Warren. If Classic did open up Charge, or if he did go Glaives, then Solo would be ready with Roaches. Otherwise, there's no need. Let's say do bust into the mineral line. Oh, catching out 1, 2, 3 drones. Roach speed is on the way. Once again, we'll see if we commit into a heavy Roach count. Eyes are on Solar's droning. So far, Solar's up to 66 workers. That is 3 base saturation. Ah, okay. I was curious. I was like, there's no Hydra Den. There's no Den, but there is a Spire on the way. This is very risky. Oh boy. Okay. So when it comes to mutas in ZVP, they can win you the game, but they're usually a little bit more advised on larger maps. I'm thinking of Winter Madness, Mothership, Taito Citadel. Some of these larger maps you can get away with muta play. On these smaller maps, it is much more difficult to get away with. Classic, he doesn't scout. He does see the initial tech, but he already responds with the Stargate, and with Phoenix production here, Classic. Now, he saw the Roach Warren, and it is not uncommon to go Roaches in towards Spire tech, but this is a really strong call here by Classic. He's being zoned away. We're setting up defensively here on the front lines. Yeah, throwing down cannons. I'm still trying to figure out what he saw here, because this is a really strong reaction. Like, he is reading mutas very well. In my mind, I have to think that it has to be like an experience thing, specifically against Solar. If he really enjoys going like Roaches into muta play, which it is. Roach speed does finish. Leading Roach collapses over the Stalkers. Nice catch. He wants the Templar. He gets one. Yeah, it does force a Morphin. Does force out the Archons. Very nice moves here by Solar. Ooh, even killing one of the Archons as well. Very nice. This will weaken the army. This will weaken the defenses against the mutas. So nice move here by Solar. Mutas, they push on the right hand side. They do move in. Once again, we do have Phoenixes amassing, and the Classic, he is ready. Yeah, he's ready. He's in position. Does pick up the mutas. And this is where Solar's muta play is not worth it. The mutas being shut down. The ground army is amassing as we speak. Solar is in trouble here. We got 1, 2, 3 more mutas. We'll just try to bait him in, but no, the Phoenixes, they kite back well. It kites back well. +1 is on the way. We have the Fleet Beacon as well for Anion Pulse Crystals. The mutas, typically, they're meant to be a surprise, and you're meant to catch out a mineral line, but that is not the case. And it's looking rough here for Solar. He needs to find some damage soon. Oof. Bleeding out more mutas. Oh! Does not catch... Have we killed a Phoenix? 2. Okay, 2 Phoenixes have gone down. Let's talk about disruptors. They're good against ghosts. What's important is that the reason why you see disruptors more so in some of the other matchups is because there's a counter to High Templar when it comes to TVP. Because of the EMP, like, you have to go into disruptors, right? Whereas here, there's no need to switch out of Templar in ZVP. In ZVP, like, once you get into Templar, you can stick with it. Whereas EMP does force you out of Templar and into disruptors. So it does force a different kind of composition. There we go. As for now, mutas, once again, they fail to get any damage. Storm's going to be coming in. Ooh, massive storm on the mutas. Oh my god. Yeah, mutas get caught. Phoenixes, they just give chase. And we're just speaking of so many mutas here. So many mutas go down. Solar heat plummets in supply. Catching reinforcing mutas. They just trickle it. Oh my god. Jesus. How many mutas have gone down? 26! 26 Mutalisks. Crazy damage. 1 Phoenix falls. He gets 1. Army kites back to Lings. Archons push forward, and Solar's being bullied here. GG gets caught. Solar, he cannot keep up with this army, and Classic will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, I would want to know actually what it was that tipped Classic off. I do know that Solar does like to play mutas, and when you go into mutas in ZVP, it's often with roaches. So you open up roach, then roach into muta, so you have a ground army just in case. But Classic, he had a really early and a really strong reaction into anti-muta play, which is why the mutas did nothing. Like the mutas, they were they were shut down completely. Classic was ready with his cannons in the mineral lines, second Stargates, fleet beacon, Phoenix production. Like Classic read Solar incredibly well there. GG. GG, well played. There was one good moment for Solar that game. There was one moment for Solar, which is when he went for the Ling Roach counterattack and he caught the High Templar and he killed an Archon. That is true. So Solar did outposition Classic that one time, and it was impressive. It was a good start. But because he was going into mutas and because Classic read that incredibly well, it didn't matter, right? Like even the Solar, he caught out the Archons, he caught out the High Templar, he had a decent start, but it was all kind of leading into something that was subpar, right? Like the mutas, they were never going to do any damage. No, with Classic preparing the way that he did. And with that, we're loading into game 2. Loading into game 2. Did he recognize gas timings or something? No, because that was something that I checked. He didn't see all the gases. He only saw 2 gases. He saw one at the natural, one in the main. Like I did check. I checked to see if he saw gases, if he saw tech. I checked to see, yeah, like the only thing that he saw was the early Roach Warren and the Eva chamber, which can be mutas, but like only can be. Like there's, like in my mind, that's still 50-50. Like whether there's mutas or hydras, like in my mind. So there must have been something else. There must have been something else that was like, that tipped him off that it wasn't going to be Hydra tech. But here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Teal Zerg, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Solar. Is the Spidey senses with tinkling? Well, that's why I said that in my mind it has to be like a Solar thing, in the sense that Solar, he does like in my mind it has to be potentially that Solar, he has a tendency of going into mutas specifically on Tourmaline, so then that like 50-50 chance turns into like 70-30 sort of thing, where there's like a higher chance that specifically Solar is going to go mutas if you scout roaches on Tourmaline. Like it'd have to be that sort of thing. But spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro, leading the series 1-0. It is Classic. Here we go. Like there are certain things like that. Like I think, for example, like ByuN, if you scout like a Marauder opener out of ByuN and TVP on like Mothership, there's a high chance it's going to go like 3 CC 3 racks. Like there's like little things like that where certain players have tendencies. So in my mind, there would have to be something of that nature. But here we go. Here we go. We're loading into game 2, and welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is an interesting map. I really like it as a map. Like it's a very extreme map, if that makes sense. So coming into this, we do have a very short rush distance. Very short rush distance by ground, incredibly short between Solar and Classic. That does favor aggression in some ways, but the bases are very close. So the natural, the third, the fourth base are very centralized. On one screen, you can see all 3 bases, right? All 3 expansions are all on one screen, and there's no way to really hit the main base unless you push through these bases as well. So you can have minimal army movements and still defend a 4-base setup. So because of that, turtling up on 4 bases and turtling up into Storm is very easy on this map. Now, the size and the rush distance means that if Classic were to be active, and if he loses map control, and if he takes a bad fight early on, very, very quickly, Solar can counterattack an all-in. He can just counterattack all-in and break the expansion. So it's very, very risky to be active on this map early on. It's applicable to all matchups and to all races, but it's very, very, very risky, mainly for like Protoss and Terran to be active here. If they get punished, then things can very quickly escalate. Very quickly. So show us what you got. From here, Stargate opener out of Classic. So let's go Stargate. So here we're building up. And likewise, we'll see how Solar decides to tech up himself. As they do threaten the shade. Oracle pokes in. Does poke in, does scout the main base. Spore is a couple of seconds too late. 1, 2 drones go down. Ooh, overextends. Yeah, big over. Oh my, classic. Miscontrol towards the end. He killed 2 drones and he should have pulled out, but he stuck around, and with that, the Oracle was thrown away, and that is a better trade for Solar. A better trade for Solar. Classic does mess up. Big misstep. And the pressure's on. Yeah, the pressure's now on Classic here. Very early. Jesus, that is a 410 lair timing very early on. So insanely fast lair. Oracle pokes in, does not scout the lair timing. What's it going to be for? So we haven't taken gases yet, but this could be for fast meter play. And because the Oracle just went down, that might prompt Solar to be more confident getting into mass muta and making this work this time. Otherwise, we could see like a Roach all-in with a Roach Horn with Roach speed, but by then we should be seeing a Roach Horn soon if that's the case. Otherwise, we could see fast Hydra tech. So Hydras or Spire, one or the other is what this should be. If it was going to be for a Roach all-in, there'd already be a Roach Horn. Oracle picks in. All 4 gases are being taken. Oh no, they get in! Oh, they bust into the middle line. Where are the lings? 7 lings are still not in position. Drone's going to be going down. 6 drones do fall. This is getting out of hand. This should not have happened. We're all messing up. Yeah, 6 drone kills. 7 drones do go down. Adepts a shade into the bases. Do we scout? No, we do not. So the lair has not been scouted. Spire is on the way. 2 base muta once again. This time, though, faster than last game. Is much faster. Checking the vision here from Classic, he didn't see the lair. If you remember, he did not scout the lair. He did not see the gas. Oh, he saw gases here on the right hand side, but didn't see the gases at the natural. Does poke in, going for the stasis. Ooh, and once again, he's going to be zoned away. And you can see that back at home, +1 and blink. +1 and blink. No Phoenixes this time. There's no cannon reaction. There's no strong reaction here from Classic. He doesn't know. Doesn't know what's going on. He is applying pressure though, and we'll see if he can trade well. He did kill a bunch of workers earlier, which does help him, but he needs to get damage done with this. Blink is almost done. Stalkers, they move in. They catch out 2 Zerglings so far. Yeah, and he's not ready. He's not ready for this. Links, they force a blink. Solar should not chase. Doesn't need to chase him down. We'll see if Solar does try to collapse on these Stalkers or if he does go for a counterattack with the mutas. He's going to have to commit. Yeah, he's going to have to commit here. As he is barely going to be revealed. Yeah, mutas collapsing in. They get spotted. Now Classic knows. Now he's aware. Force the fight. Oh, that's so many Zerglings going down, and we reinforce with more Stalkers. He's breaking through. Yeah, Classic is breaking through. These Lings, they cannot quite keep up. Muta's being focused down. Oh, the stasis. Oh my god, massive stasis trap, and now he can chase. He can chase the Mutas. Classic is overwhelming. Behind this, Phoenix production has begun. Takes down a Queen. Takes down another Muta. And another. And a, and another. He's one-shotting Mutas. Yeah, brutal trades here. Catching up 2 more Mutas. That's what, 6? 8. 8 Mutas go down in total. Massive losses there for Solar. Nice target firing at a Classic. And this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. Pushing further in. Yeah, it's a bit more transfuse. Thankfully, no more stasis traps. Thankfully. So Lings, they can engulf this. They can commit. Gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Stalkers. Nice pickoffs. And Lings overwhelmed. You can see the mass Ling trade so much better here against the Stalkers. Gets a full surround. Has to recall back home. We need those Zealots. And we have a back and forth. We have a bit of a back and forth here. Solar did sustain some heavy losses. Contamination on the Stargate as well. Let's go. Nice contamination. Delaying Phoenixes. Second Stargate's on the way. And we're getting messy here. At this point, we're getting very, very messy. So Classic is on 3 base saturation. Solar, he's getting up to 4 base saturation. He's droning, and you can see he's switching out. He's tech switching out of mutas into hydras. Now, unfortunately, because of the initial muta play, and I would say the mutas did not pay for themselves, the upgrades are delayed, right? So this hydra switch is going to be very shaky, very messy. We have +1 on the way, as +2 is already in production for Classic. Working on the fleet beacon, building up into Sky Toss. And this is where we have to go back to how we introduced this map. Remember, we spoke about it. 10,000 feet is a map of extremes, and the initial 4 bases, including this base here, are very close to each other. It's very easy to turtle, very easy to defend. And because of the mutas right now, Classic is forced to be defensive, and Classic will be turtling up into 4 bases. He'll be turtling on up into Storm, into High Templar, into potentially even Sky Toss from here. As he has not begun Storm yet. But in my mind, Classic should be staying back at home and just turtling up. Here we go. We have a wall of cannons, shield batteries. It's going to be up to Solar to mass expand. So far, he drones up to 80, drones up to 4 base saturation. This is decent. But I'm going to be worried if Solar doesn't tech up in a hive. Like, if he doesn't throw down an Infestation Pit, and if he forces himself into a lair tech all-in, then I'm going to be favoring Classic. Unless Classic does this. We're moving out. Uh-oh. Now he sees. Yeah, now he does see all the mass hydra for the first time. Now he knows. And he has to get the hell out of here. So in his mind, he thought it was maybe going to be continued Ling Bane into Muta. Oh. Catching out the Lings, not bad. Committing on top of the army. Bailey's now done. And Classic has to get the hell out of here. I'm not fond of him being active like this. It's very risky, especially without Storm. It's very risky. Classic pulls back. Oh, does get on top of some of the Hydras. Bailings, they do move in. Zelt's going to be going down. But the Hydras are exposed. He gets on top. The Hydras are going... Oh, massive losses. Yeah, massive losses for Solar. Bleeding out more mutas, bleeding out more Hydras. The lift on the Bailing. Let's go. And every muta's going to be thrown away. And Storm is not ready yet. Storm is just now going to be finishing up, still a ways away. We see Solar, he's not stopping. He's just massing up more Lings, more Hydras. And now there's that much less to defend. No more Archons. So Solar, can he break through? He's close. He's close to breaking Classic. Storm isn't done yet. As he tries to move in. Ooh. As a couple of Phoenixes do go down to the Hydras. Yeah, Phoenixes are getting picked off. Storm is now done. Classic is moving in. Storm lands. High Templar is somewhat exposed. No, oh god, he goes into the storms. Calm down, Solar. So far, Classic, he holds, he defends, catching more reinforcements. Solar turns everything around. Turns around. Ah, but he got the base. That's all that matters here. Yeah, that was a cancel. This base was canceled, was denied. That's all that Solar needed. Now, we'll see if Classic can turtle up from here. It's still not going to be easy, though. It's not going to be easy. Solar, he's maxing out. And now the win condition is just defend and survive. I would say that Classic has too much here on the left-hand side. The right-hand flank is very exposed. Here comes Solar. He's moving in. He does move in. Probes have to pull away. Archons, they defend well. Okay. Solar defense. Yeah, Solar defense here from the Classic. Even catching out some of the Hydras. Oof. Yeah, at the same time, here comes the second army. So Classic, he does fight really well here, but back at home, the 4th base is going to be denied. Yeah, the 4th base is going down. The Classic out of position. Nice storms on the Bailings. As they try to roll. Oh, they get in! Oh my god. 8. 8 probes go down. The 4th base is denied. Classic out of position. And this is a rough defense. Yeah, rough defense here. Classic, he will hold, but at a cost. Losing 8 probes. Zells, they get cleaned up. Still no 4th expansion. And Soul just has to keep going. He just has to keep going, just keep remaxing, rebuilding, and ensure that Classic never gets a fourth. And eventually Classic will just run out of steam. Run out of resources. From the side of Classic, we need to do a bit of a better job here when it comes to splitting up the army. Again, he did overreact to one side and underreacted to the other. Yeah, once again, there's an opening. Things to do slip in. Okay, so the base is here. The base is getting very, very low. And we're going to the ace match. Yeah, we're going to the ace match. The third base is going to go down. He gets it. He should. There we go. The Bailey connects. Third base goes down. Classic expanding on the right-hand side. Ooh, this is a bold move. Okay. You can argue it's tucked away. It's tucked away. It's a little bit more defensive. Can he get away with it? He needs more time, though. He needs time to open up the wall. He needs to open. So once again, we have that split push. So we're pushing it towards the natural. Catching out the Temple Archives. Very nice catch. And again, Solar, he should have this at this point. Okay, coming in from both angles, surrounding the army. Catching out all three Archons. Getting within range of the expansion. Classic does take a better fight on the left-hand side, that is true, but he will once again lose a third. That's all that matters. Deny the third base. And force the ace match back. GG gets called. We're going to game number 3. Whew. Hi. GG, well played. Once again, winding it back here. This time, Classic, he got caught with his pants down when it came to Muta play. But more importantly, it was the follow-up. It was the fact that it was not mass Muta. Eventually, we did switch into Hydras, and if you recall, we were trying to emphasize that the moment that Classic realized it was going to be a Hydra switch was when he pushed. When he pushed across the map and he got caught out in the open. Behind that, that's why he was late when it came to taking him into Storm. I don't think he started Storm until he saw the Hydras themselves. And likewise, he was late to get his 4th base as well. It looked like the Classic, he wanted to push out and try to punish his opponent and try to kill Solo for going Ling Muta. And it would have worked, but it wasn't Ling Muta, it was Hydra instead. And we saw that there just wasn't enough on the ground to break through. There was no Storm, and in the end, Classic, he got caught overextending and couldn't quite defend. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the ace match, going to be loading into game number 3. Let's go. Where are we dropping? It is going to be on Ruby Rock. Ooh, another what were the vetoes? what were the vetoes to allow both Tourmaline and Ruby Rock and 10,000? What the hell? What happened? These are all the all-in maps. Ruby Rock, 10,000 feet, and Tourmaline. Like those are 3 most aggressive maps in this map pool, and they're all in. What did Classic veto map? Yeah. I guess Mothership. I guess. Crazy. Alright, let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Teal Zerg, tying up the series 1-1 and forcing the ace match. It is Solon. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, the South Korean Protoss representing Protoss Pro. It is a Classic. Go. Late Storm really hurt Classic there. I mean, a lot of it comes down to it's late Storm, but also late scouts, right? He just didn't know. He didn't know that there was a big Hydra switch coming. The pants were down. Solar did pull it off. Now the question becomes, do we go into Mutas again? Like, we saw Mutas twice now, both in game 1 and in game 2. To be fair, game 2 was unique in the sense that Classic, he lost the Oracle at the start of the game. I would go as far as to say that the only reason why Solo went into 2-base Muta was because the Oracle was killed. Like, the lack of that first Oracle means that there was just so much limited scouting at a Classic, which is why he failed to scout the Lair, he failed to scout the Spire, and even failed to scout the Hydra follow-up as well. Losing that first Oracle was brutal. And that shouldn't happen again. Shouldn't happen again. As we do expect better from Classic. We'll see. So now Hatch, Gas Pool, Standard Opener, we're just going to be settling in. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock has a very short rush distance by ground, has an open third, has an open area in between the bases as well, and again has that shorter rush distance across the map. So we do often see all-ins. Like, all-ins are very common here on Ruby Rock as well, as we've seen in every game so far, in Ruby Rock, in Tourmaline, and 10,000 feet. Aggression is favored. Arcade open at the Classic. And again, that's why I'm surprised that Classic let these maps through the veto process. Specifically, all 3 of them. Like, like usually you veto at least 1, but no. He let them all in, baby. Okay. I mean, you can make an argument that Classic, he has like the best defensive PvZ out there. Like, better than Max, better than herO. You can make that argument, and I think I probably would agree with that. But yeah, just very confident. Very confident veto choice here from Classic. As this is going to be the Voider opener. Let's go. Tells up in Void Ray. That's going to be the Void Ray to hunt down the Overlords, night vision, night scouting. And what do we hide behind this? We have our attention. Ooh, that is a very early Twilight Council before the expansion. Glaives? We're expecting Glaive Adepts here. So Classic, he's going to be the aggressor this time, as it's the earliest Twilight Council we've seen so far this series. Overlord gets shut down. And show us what you got. So far, we're getting up to 4 gates. Bearing in mind, actually, there's no robo. There's no robo alongside this, so it looks like an economic variation, where because there's no robo, you can afford a Nexus. Yep, Nexus gets thrown down. It still has to be Glaives, right? Yep, there it is, Glaives. So this is a build that has been permitting recently, but this is a macro Glaive Adept build. It's still hyper aggressive, that is true, but because there's no robo, because there's no War Prism, you can afford the Nexus. So macro variation of 4-gate Glaives. You have a bit of a cleaner transition in towards the mid game with a better economy. The downside though, without a robo, without a War Prism, it also means no immortal production. So it does mean that a Roach counterattack should be hitting harder than normally, as there's no access to immortals. So again, like there's a lot of different dynamics that are going to be coming into play. So far though, Solo doesn't know, and he's going for the safety Roach Warren, thankfully, because he knows that he doesn't know what's going on. And safety Roach Warren, that will be enough in time to defend. I don't really see him walling off though, and here come the initial Adepts. Oh boy, that's a lot. Adepts are moving out. Lings, they do get us around here on the pylon. Nice pickup. Pylon will go down. But at the same time, Adepts, they do shade in. Yeah, he commits to the shade. Glaives finishing up in 3 seconds. Yeah, now done. Link's going down. We have 7 Roaches on the way. And Adepts, they just started. They've only just begun. Hatching out 1. Yeah, 1 Queen. Void Ray does arrive. Adepts, they shade into the actual. No major kills yet. So far, decent defense here by Solar. So far, so good. Adepts, they shade into the main. Ooh, late reaction. No! Late reaction by Solar. 6 drone kills. Ay, ay, ay. This is getting a bit out of hand here. Yeah, just late reactions. Shades partially across. Partially towards the third. No, the drones are getting caught out. Yeah, brutal shade. 12 drone kills. This is game ending. This is game ending damage. We're forcing an all-in. As once again we shade into the natural. 16 drone kills. Insane damage done already. And back at home, we have a delayed robo into immortal production. And even though this is delayed, it's on the way. It's coming. And it will be done in time. As we lose up to 20 drones. 22 drone kills. Again, critical damage. At this point, Solar, he's forced into a 2-base all-in. Droning off from here, no shot. Especially because of the fast third. Remember, this was a macro variation of the build. It was a macro variation with a faster Nexus. Which means that Classic has a booming economy in comparison. And Solar's droning. Oof. Solar, he's droning. He's saturating. He's going to try to macro out of this. Now, thankfully for Solar, Classic is reacting very hard. Oh, he cancels. He notices. I was going to say that he's got 3 batteries on the way and that will hurt Classic because there's no all-in coming. But he notices. He does cancel. He's like, you know what? You should be here by now. What's going on? So he does cancel. He does realize he doesn't need them. Gets the refund. Prism is on the way, and Classic is soon going to bring the chaos and the aggression to Solar. And Solar's droning. That's the thing here. He's droning, he's saturating. His army's lackluster as a result of that. And soon, Classic's going to push. Here he comes, the Soul Train. Here we go. Classic commits across the map. With all these force fields, how many Ravagers do we have? 4, soon to be 6. Decent Ravager count, but the Roach count is still quite low. Here he comes, locks down one of the Ravagers. He gets one. Ooh, 1 Ravager falls. Very nice force fields, locks down the army. 2nd Ravager gets picked up. Takes down 3, 4, 5. Every Ravager's falling, and Classic just snowballing out of control. Again, he dealt critical damage earlier, and there's just barely a standing army. There's nothing here. A couple of Wazoo connect. Void Ray moves in to help support. Oof. And with that, Classic will be advancing on into the semifinals. GG gets straight into the grand finals. GG gets called, and Classic will advance on into that final series. GG. GG, well played. Again, Classic, he will overwhelm. I was curious. I was wondering if you recall. I was like, yo, Classic, he let 10,000 feet, Tourmaline, and Ruby Rock through the veto process. What was the plan? Well, Classic clearly showing us that he's willing to be aggressive as well. You know, it's not just Solo going for all-ins. Classic also want to be aggressive as well. Winding it back, remember, this is a macro variation. No robo early on, going to 4-gate glaives into a delayed, 4-gate glaives with an early Twilight Council into a slightly later 3rd base into Mass Adepts. And Solar, he was playing it safe. He did have a Roach Warren, but this did hit much earlier than usual. I do see in the chat someone asking, I don't understand why Zerg's no wall off against this. They usually do if they have more time to react and respond. Remember as well, I should have emphasized that this does hit earlier than usual because they're not waiting for the robo or not waiting for the Warp Prism. Usually 4-gate glaives does hit with a robo and a Warp Prism, so you have to wait a little bit longer for the prism to move out across the map. This does hit slightly faster because you're not waiting for the robo or the prism, you're just warping the depths and just moving out across the map. We saw that Solar, because he didn't know what was coming his way, he didn't have a wall off ready, he didn't have any kind of Sim City, as he was caught with his pants down. He was not aware of the build of choice, was not aware of the move outs until it was already in his face. So it came down to lack of scouting, lack of realization. But remember, the reason why there was no scouting was because of the Void Ray opener. It all began with the Void Ray. Void Ray did hunt down the Overlord and made sure that Solar wasn't able to scout. So like there's like layers as to like why Solar was caught off guard, why he was not aware of what was going on. It all began with the Void Ray as well, right? It was all kind of leading into each other. You can make an argument that, hey, if you see a Void Ray opener, like, is it wise to just be hyper safe and defensive? Well, the reality is that the majority of the time at high level PvZ, if you have a Void Ray opener, it's usually a fake out. Like, it's usually just standard play behind it. You can high tech and be hyper aggressive behind it, but that's often happening. That's like less of a chance of that happening. It can happen, but more often than not, it's just Void Ray into Oracle into standard play. And then if you invest into that wall off, then you set yourself behind. So like, it's a hard call to make. It's a hard call to make. But here we go. With that, GG well played. With that, Classic does advance on into the finals, and we're jumping into our next series. Going to be a PvT upper semifinals between herO and ByuN. Oh boy, can we stop the PvP finals? Ah, por favor. Again, we'll see. Again, big fan of both herO and ByuN, but can we stop the PvP finals? Pressure's on ByuN. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Ruby Rock. Let us go. So the answer to why don't Zergs wall off against it, they usually do if they have the foresight ahead of time, right? To recognize the builds, to recognize the aggression, and to have seconds to prepare back at home. That is usually done. But remember, Solar didn't see it coming, didn't know what was going on, and didn't realize what was happening until it was already in his mineral line. Until it hit his third. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Oh. Representing T1, it is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Green Terran player. We have the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. So, let us go. As again, Classic is waiting in the grand finals for the winner of this series, for the winner of this PvT. Coming into this, ByuN and herO, they face off very, very often, and typically it is in favor of herO. herO does come in as the favorite player, of course, but ByuN can threaten him, and ByuN is often very unique in his own builds as well. Very unique. He's very stylistic. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. As for now, it is going to be double gas. Double gas opener out of ByuN. He's going for a faster factory. He's going for a delayed CC. And herO does confirm. Yeah, there we go. Does confirm the build, does confirm the opener. So again, this is going to be a more tech-heavy start. If we were casting Maru or Ryung, I would look at this and I'd be like, ooh, there's a chance that we go for a one-base all-in. Especially on Ruby Rock. But ByuN, he's usually one to just go for a factory, then a delayed CC in towards the early game. Rarely seen one-base all-ins by ByuN. That's why he does it. True. Cap. But now there's that factory. Again, here is fully aware. Because of this tech-heavy start, there's a chance that we open up Reaper Hellion, and usually the Protoss player responds and reacts with safety batteries in both the main base and the natural. Just because there's a chance it's going to be heavy Reaper Hellion aggression. There's no guarantee. This could be for early Cyclone production. This could be for committed Mine Drop play. This could be for additional, say, faster Banshee play and Cloak Banshee, I should say. There's lots of different varieties and builds available here for ByuN as the follow-up. But herO should be playing safe after the scout. Now herO does attempt to delay. Reaper does turn around, catching at the probe. CC on the high ground. Okay, CC is going to be on the high ground. We do get the reactor on the racks, but that is not a naked factory. That's going to be a faster tech lab. So no Reaper Hellion. No Hellion production. With this, we can go into earlier Cyclones instead, and even earlier tanks. Yeah, so preserving that gas. Cyclone production has begun. There's that safety battery here on the low ground for herO. Again, herO doesn't know what's coming his way. Not yet. He's trying to scout, trying to get eyes on the add-ons. Pokes up the ramp, does spot the reactor. Didn't see much else. First Reaper does move in. Okay, the battery does defend. I believe there was no battery in the main. Yeah, no battery in the main base. So here he's cutting some corners here, and he's going to be fine. Catching out the Reaper. ByuN fails the scouts. Behind this, we could be seeing a Stargate opener. It is going to be Twilight Council, as we can see, but ByuN's not fully aware. With the early Cyclone, though, we should go for the early push. So Cyclone has arrived. So Cyclone then add-ons up into early Tech Lab on the early starport. This is like some of the earliest like Tech Lab starport play you can get to. Into Raven, not Banshee. So not too committed here with the follow-up. Likewise, you can see that ByuN, he's waiting for the Adepts. The Adepts, they actually go the long way around, and they slip past ByuN. Ooh, does slip by. Does slip by, does slip past. Scout saturation. Does see all the Marines. Knows that there's no Reaper Hellion. Ooh, and does get caught by the Cyclone. Yeah, he's going to get caught out. Cyclone can be repaired. Here he has to get the hell out of here. Does pull out. Behind this, how many gateways? So we have one gateway in the low ground. We have two in the main, 3-gate blink. 3-gate blink into the Robo. early Prism does mean the hero can be aggressive, but he should be expanding behind this. Should soon be a Nexus. As hero does move out. As he moves out, the probe is moving in. Moving in to expand. Gonna be on hero to pick away at the army and to potentially even catch the Cyclone. Okay. Blink is done. Does dive in. Cyclone is gonna go down. Nice pickup. Nice catch out of hero. There's a third expansion. And hero's looking to contain. To contain and to scout. Dives into the main base, picks up the SCV, gets eyes on the tank, and should lift. Nice save. Hero does lift in time. So far, keeping it with ByuN. Does confirm, of course, the lack of additional, like, Banshee play, for example. He also scouted the Raven as well, true. So Hero now is fully aware that he has no concern about Cloak Banshees. He has no concern of Widowmine drops. Picking away at the army, picking up 2 Marines, sorry, 2 SCVs. And trading well. Ooh. Auto turret going for the Prism, but the Prism does get away. That was 2 auto turrets spent. Hero pulls out. Oh, the Viking! Ooh, no unload. Yeah, it does not unload. Massive pickup. That's 4 Stalkers going down. Very nice catch here by ByuN. And that means that the auto turrets are worth it. Was worth it. Did something off the Prism, and hero is in a rough position here. Without that Prism, nothing to pressure. There's no pressure. There's no map control. ByuN can build up. Even catching the Observer. Very nice catch. And for all hero knows, this could be a 2-base all-in. We can see the 3rd CC tucked away behind in between the bases, but hero has no idea. So here he has to play it safe. Batteries are on the way. Storm is in production. Has to rebuild that War Prism as well. ByuN is building up into the mid game, but he can still push on 2 bases. He can still push out. You can see he's trying to bait the army within tank range. Can he bait him? He can! Nice bait. Nice bait by ByuN. Once again, repositioning those tanks. Hero does react in time. Does pull away. Back up War Prism into the main base. Vikings on patrol. That's the Zealot drop as well. No Stalkers, so there's no anti-air. ByuN is ready. Oh, here he commits in. Yeah, it's going to be a one-way trip. This is not worth it. It's not worth it. He looks like he will get the tank at least. Tank goes down, so there's a bit of a trade here, but this is a brutal trade for hero. As he should not get away. He should... no stim. Oh, okay. Prism does get away. Never mind. As ByuN did not chase down, at the same time he's harassing across the map. 3 probe kills. Storm is not done. Hero, he can actually engage with the army as he pushes. ByuN is pushing. Here comes the Storm. Oh no! Oh my god. Okay, Storm does graze. Storm does zone. No major engagements. Hero playing with fire. he's gotta be careful. And we're building up. Double Forge is on the way for double upgrades. Hero's trying to recover, bearing in mind that the early to mid game so far has been better for ByuN. It's been a stronger start for the Terran player, and that is reflected now when it comes to the main army, when it comes to the size. Although this comes down to the failed aggression, the failed harassment out of hero. ByuN so far is looking solid. Now, the best thing hero can hope for is to engage the army ahead of time. That's why he's sharking around. ByuN should just calm down until Ghosts arrive. The academy is done. Ghost production is going to be on the horizon. We're going for the storm drop, but there's not that many SCVs. Yet does land some storms here. 5 SCVs go down and some damage. Does get 5 SCVs. We gotta be careful. As the Templar is rallying forward, and it's a bit of a misrally. It's going to be thrown away. Of herO, we got to lock in. We got to... Free Eye Templar. Gotta calm down, pappy. And again, ByuN, he's just waiting until Ghost. He's just turtling up, setting up his siege tanks, waiting until his Ghosts arrive. I would say that the correct thing to do here is to just turtle up until you're maxed and then build up a Liberator army and get your 4th base. But I'm of the opinion that, especially on Ruby Rock, it's difficult to pull that off. Like, it's not an easy map to turtle on. And the 4th CC is on the way. We'll see how defensive ByuN plans on being. Colossi on the way for herO. Going for the Stargate. Should be for the Mothership, for the Fleet Beacon eventually. Zealot Rambai runs into the army. Shouldn't get much here. Doesn't get much done. You can see that herO is waiting for the 4th, and when ByuN takes his 4th base, then he should be spreading himself more thin. herO even going for +1 air attack. Are we going for a serious switch into Skytoss? He might just be setting up. But he's getting +1. It is considered to be quite difficult to, like, it is superior to switch and to get into, like, Tempest, into Skytoss. But it is considered quite difficult to achieve, especially on these smaller maps. Yeah, he's going for it. 3 Stargates, okay. That's crazy. It's been, I'll be honest, it's been a while since we've seen a player attempt to do this at this level of play, this early on. Classic, he was known for this kind of style. This was maybe like a year ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, where Classic was known for like rushing into Carrier, rushing into Tempest in TVP as soon as he could, whenever he saw an opening. But again, it's just so risky to do just because you do leave yourself vulnerable. Okay. I mean, I would say that the pressure's on herO to take a risk, to take a chance. Like, herO is behind, for sure. Like, herO, he is behind because of the early game. Like, herO isn't up. There's a reason why ByuN is maxed at the moment, and herO is still catching up. But at the same time, like, this is a way to recover. Here we go. We're going into mass carrier, 4 carries at a time. Is ByuN gonna be passive? Is he gonna be stuck at home? Is he gonna let this happen? Scan into the main. Does see the Cybercore researching. That's a sign. Does see the research on the Cybercore. So ByuN sees a +1 flyer attack is on the way. For now, he's getting his fusion core, working towards liberators. ByuN, he's perfecting his army, which is technically the correct thing to do, but it does mean that herO is getting away with the Skytoss transition. He's getting away with it. Mass EMP. Mass EMP bleeded Zealots. herO bleeds out a lot of charge lots here. That was a rough fight for herO. herO's going to be careful. If he takes a bad fight, then he will trigger a counterattack. Again, picking up Marines, switching into Viking production. As he, of course, saw the Colossus. So he tells me his Vikings. Once again, picks in. As EMP. So if I were building up to soon to be 12 Vikings, a solid Viking count. And we should soon be seeing a switch into Liberators. Another scan. Still see the Cybercore researching. Still don't see. Yep, 2 more starports. Good read here by ByuN. It is mine because it's been so long. If it's still researching, it's going to be +2, at least +2, and it is. So a stronger sign of Skytoss. Liberator's now amassing. Now, when it comes to the kind of... Now, he sees, yeah, he does scan, he does see that mass Stargates. He knows. He now knows. When it comes to his army, do we have to refine this a little bit further here? 8 goes, 12 Vikings. We could do with more Vikings. Typically, more Vikings. I would say that his SCV count is too high. Ideally, at this point, we want to be shaving off some SCVs, relying a little bit more on mules and on orbitals. Oh. Storm does crazy army. And if we have less SCVs, we have more supply for army. There's feedbacks here on 2 of the ghosts. A lackluster storm. And building in more liberators, more Vikings. Let's get an nice EMP. And nice EMP here on the carriers. 1 carrier goes down. Vikings, they get punished. So we're trying to focus on those Vikings. Down to 8. Ooh, down to 8 Vikings. That's not going to be enough. Carriers to push forward here. There's just not enough Vikings. Not enough, back. So still trying to reinforce. Now getting up to 10. Does recall back home. Okay, he gets out. Does get out with those reinforcing Vikings. herO pulls away. That was not a bad fight. As he did preserve his carriers. Quickly checking here. He lost 2. Okay, he lost 2 carriers. Maintain the rest. Now switching into Tempest. Again, carriers, they don't really scale too well. So as the game progresses, we want to slowly kind of ease off of carriers and ease into Tempest instead. As Tempests are just more efficient. How many gateways do we have? So far, 11. That's a very low gateway count. But herO has no bank. That's the issue here. I mean, the issue is that there just aren't really many bases on Ruby Rock. Like, again, it's a small map that favors aggression. There's just not really much room to work with. Ideally, what you would have is like 20 gateways. So if a fight occurs, and if the Skytoss army gets completely reset, you can go and switch in like Mass Blink Stalker and just catch your opponent off guard who may be overcommitted into too many Vikings and too much of an anti-air army. But that kind of tech switch is not available here as herO has no economy. Or the economy is just not high enough for that sort of thing. Not yet. So the armies are still building up. We have gotten into 7 Tempests, so a decent Tempest count here. And with those Tempests, we can start to shell away at the SimCity, at the turrets, at the planetaries. These batteries are a little bit late. And ideally, we want that kind of outpost to fall back on. So you can see the Vikings trying to find a better angle. There are 16 Vikings, they one-shot. They kill one of the Tempests, miscontrol by herO. As soon as you see the Vikings moving in, you have to pull back your Tempest. You got to pull them back. Remember, Tempests have a lot of range, and you have to make use of that space. You have to be able to back off and kite. You gotta respect the dive. You gotta respect the Vikings. Speaking of, oh no! Going in. Okay. Storm does zone. Catching at a carrier. That's why in the end we want to get rid of all these carriers anyway. Forced to recall. Massive reaction. Massive reaction out of herO. Recall's now on cooldown. Still building up. ByuN is also sneaking out with top right. This space is getting up and running unimpeded. Here he goes, has to be very careful with these high tempo. Right now they're all clumped up. They're 1 EMP away from just being shut down. So here he has to be careful. Speaking of, here come the ghosts. Oh, he wants EMPs. Oh my god, we just mentioned it. Massive EMPs here, catching at every single high tempo. No storms. herO, he was clumped up. ByuN is listening to the stream. He's Gotcha. Alright, lad, you're right. They are clumped up. Ah. And now I can move in. Now I can just bully back the army, mass liberation zones. Oh, goes overextend, okay. But the Archons, though, yeah, just being thrown away here. Massive shots from the Liberators. Archons go down. But does reset that ground army. Tempest is slowly gaining ground. We need more Vikings. We need more Vikings. Does snipe the mothership. Not bad. Mothership goes down. There's that ground switch. Into Blink Stalkers. Needs that support. It does need it. Likewise, ByuN also reinforcing with Marines. We don't really have a bank to work with. ByuN also making whatever he can. And through sheer economy, herO might just have this. Like here, he has, what, a 3k gas bank, 1k minerals. herO can afford these trades. ByuN cannot. ByuN is broke. Massive storm! Massive storm. God, the Skytest army is so low on HP. It's so low. But again, free shots with the Tempest. Free shots going up. Again, you can just see just how condensed the map is. How constricted it is. Like, we're just so close to each other. There's just one base to the other. Planetary's getting low. Once again, nice EP. Very nice EMPs, but there's still a storm behind this. There's only one High Templar. Just the one. That's a little bit risky. Lands. SCPs at the same time. ByuN going for a Zealot run by. He runs into a planetary. ByuN building up his bank. Again, top right is paying off. Oof. Claiming top right. We're now getting up to 7, soon to be up to 11 Tempest. It's a lot of Tempest. Yeah, just punishing the Vikings at this point. You snipe one. He does crazy army. This time herO does split up his High Templar. Let's go. He splits him up. Mothership comes in just in time. In. Here comes the EMPs. Oh, no quite connecting. Ghost getting bullied. EMP on the Tempest. The EMP. Storms are denied. Once again, nice EMPs here by ByuN. Vikings, they do snipe. Oh, barely. Not actually. They barely kind of one-shot. Never say move in. Ooh, gets one. Takes that one Tempest. Once again, nice EMPs. We need more storms. And storms they punish. Yeah, storm does connect. And once again, what's really killing ByuN here as we storm ourselves a little bit is that ByuN, he has no bank. Right? ByuN, he's spending all of his money that here and now. Here he's got 4k in the bank. herO does get punished. Losing another Tempest. Another Tempest goes down to 6. Down to 6 Tempest. Planetary goes down. The Planetary goes down. Ooh, lack of repairs. Yeah, no repair. Planetary falls. Massive pickoff. Again, ByuN, he was struggling economically to begin with. And now does herO rotate to the top side as we have a fresh expansion on the way, or do we keep pushing? Do we make use of this and keep pushing in towards a third? So Ramai does spot the expansion. We're going to be storming the mineral line. Oof. Yeah, it does storm. Brutal connections, 13 SCV kills. ByuN, he responds to everything. No. Yeah, he responds 26 SCVs. Can he kill the planetary? He can. Oh my god. Yeah, planetary goes down as well, and ByuN is falling apart. Losing 2 mineral lines, losing 2 expansions, and now here comes herO. Oh, be careful. Gets another. 3rd planetary falls. And now we're just committing. Yeah, now we're just diving in. ByuN is all in. It's all or nothing. Nukes on the main army. He nukes. And the nuke will land. Oh my god, never mind. Barely does not. Denies the nuke back. Yeah, nuke is barely denied. Once again, fortified out in the open. Down to 9 Vikings. And there's still no expansion. Yeah, we're still just trying to re-expand. Orbitals are floating over, bearing in mind they're orbitals, not planetaries. They're weaker. They're more vulnerable, I should say. We just blink in. Yeah, we just blink in. And you got the tanks, the liberators, the economy as well. Oh, the boys! They're fighting. Oh no. The boys are coming in. The SCV's in shambles. Oh no. They're being tased to death. Aye. Okay. Marines that respond, they will clean up the mineral line. I'm gonna get the excess workers. Bringing my hero's mind out, so he doesn't need them. Throws them away. Takes down another expansion. And now here he can rotate. He can rotate over. He can focus on the northern bases. Here is coming. Back in a Colossus to slay in the game. Let's go. Got our 3 Colossi. Oh. Speaking of, 1 Colossus does get caught. Some panic storms. herO taking ByuN's bases. Oh, the boys are back. Oh no. They're a menace. They kill 4 SCVs. The probe run by actually worth it, unironically. Only in hero's games. You know the hero was waiting for the moment where he killed the planetary to make probe run bys viable. It's like, oh, okay. The boys are online. We can go. Just waiting for that moment. ICP. And ICP does force a recall. Recalling with the mothership, and oh, ByuN's out of position. Completely out of position. These bases are going to fall. Massive pickups. ByuN cannot expand. We catch out the ByuN army as well. Oh my god. Tempest have to pull away. Vikings, they catch 1. They catch 1 Tempest, and they get another. Second Tempest goes down. Decent goes with the Vikings, but again, we have plenty of storms coming in. Storm does graze. GG gets called. ByuN is broke. ByuN can't afford anything, and ByuN, I was saying herO, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO, he will claim the game. He will take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth here by both herO and ByuN. Went all the way to the late game. I was so winding it back here. If you remember, ByuN had the stronger early and mid game. ByuN, he was ahead. He was ahead. And what did ByuN do with that lead? Well, he decided to get further ahead, which makes sense. To claim a fourth base, to turtle up, to build up into Viking, Ghost, Liberator. The problem with this, though, is that herO did recognize early on, and herO was behind, if you remember. He was behind, he was pressured, and herO, he went for the bold decision to go into quadruple Stargate mass carrier production very early, very early on. But he was behind, he had to take a risk, and on top of that, ByuN was turtling up himself, right? Like ByuN, he had relinquished map control. If ByuN was more active and aggressive, then ByuN could have punished herO, but ByuN was turtling up quite hard. So upon recognizing that, herO, he got away with it. He got away with his carrier switch, then eventually into Tempest switch as well, and herO was able to take advantage of a greater economy and a more efficient army. Just so many free volleys going off with the Tempest. We saw that ByuN was making the correct force to deal with that, going into his own Liberator Viking Ghost composition, but because of how small the map is, there just wasn't really much room to work with, not really many bases either, a very low base count on Ruby Rock, and ByuN had an economy issue, right? Like ByuN, he just couldn't afford these trades, couldn't afford these losses. He had no money to work with. GG. If you recall, he was struggling, and it took him a long time to maintain and to take over the northern bases as well. But GG, well played. And with that, we're now going to be loading into 10,000 feet. It's going to be loading into game number 2. Once again, another smaller map. Smaller map. Let's go. Just catching up. Clearly, that has a time machine. It's sending messages to me. I'm true. Let's go. We need to go back, Marty. Yeah. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss player himself. We have the South Korean Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Here we go. Let's as ByuN does go for the fake proxy. Going for the fake proxy. Rax is thrown down. Balance. Let's go. Let us go. As we are going for our fake proxy racks here on ByuN's side of the map, but likewise behind this is going to be double gas. And we'll see how we open up. From here, again, ByuN is trying to force an overreaction, as it looks like he's going to be proxying his factory as well. He's trying to make it look like a one-base all-in. And we'll see if herO falls for it. Let's go. Here he does scout both gases, he does see the lack of racks, and here does he check the pocket area here. Where are we headed? Does check behind the natural initially, then behind the third, and does he check the triangular third location? Does check the forward location first. Checks the forward third base. Then checks the linear third. So far here he expands. There's no strong reaction here, going for the adept. And herO goes back in. Okay, he's going back in. Rax is floating back home. Reaper is going to be revealed. This confirms that the Rax is back at home. herO knows. Solid read out of herO. He will disrupt the wall. Bunker gets thrown down as there's an opening. Adepts are moving out. And herO doesn't take the bait. Doesn't take the bait. herO. In the end, ByuN kind of disrupted himself, as now he has to float his buildings and float back into the main, and now it's a bit of a messier start. For those that are curious, ByuN was hoping he could mind game herO, make it look like an all-in, and have herO overreact and go like for initial Zealot early on, a Robo, delay the expansion, force some kind of reaction, but herO was unfazed. Yeah, unfazed here. Reaper gets caught, and ByuN is stuck on one base. He's stuck here on the high ground. herO freely saturating. See, the problem here with trying to mind game herO is that you're trying to force like a defensive reaction out of herO, but here even if he scouts a confirmed all in, he reacts with aggression. Like that's like that's herO. Like that's like just naturally he's gonna be in your face. Oh, faster TC, hyper greed out of ByuN. He's behind, right? So it's kind of similar as last game for herO, where herO was in a really rough position, so herO took the chance and took the risk of going into mass Stargate. Here it's similar, where ByuN is behind, ByuN, he's in a rough position, ByuN's response is faster TC. That's his way back into this game, is to be hyper greedy. And if this goes on scale, 4 gameplay, no! We just spoke about this. We were like, no, yeah, like here his typical reaction is to be aggressive. He's going 4 Blink Stalker blindly. He doesn't see the 3rd CC, by the way. He doesn't know that ByuN is being hyper greedy, but he's reacting with 4 Blink. Hyper aggression out of herO. And this will punish ByuN, 100%. Oh no. And he doesn't even know. But you could argue that maybe because herO knows that he's ahead and herO knows that ByuN is behind, that ByuN would take a risk like this. 3 layers of mind game, maybe. But here comes a prism and here come the reinforcements. Oh boy. It's going to be a tough hold. It's going to be a very tough hold here. Remember that the production and the army here is already smaller to begin with because the production had to lift and land, right? Had to lift and float over and land, so it's already disrupted. It's already a rough start. There's no bunker. We do have 2 tanks in position, okay? So breaking this forward position is going to be difficult, but there is an opening into the main. There is an opening. Here come the mass warpins. Here comes herO. And does he blink into both tanks? And if he does, can he even break him? He's going for it. The unsiege! No, he unsieges! He breaks in! 1, 2 tanks go down. Very unfortunate moment to unsiege. Does it get an extra volley off? Okay. Does get a volley off. Stalkers, they pull away. So messy engage here by herO. It was messy. But there's no tank, right? There's no tank behind this. He can just bully the army. There's no stim. Bunker's not yet done either. And these stalkers are low, but here he can just keep pushing. He can just keep on pushing. Bunker will finish, but it's on his own. herO pulls away, catching at the Cyclone. 10 SCV kills. That was just such an unlucky moment to unsiege. Like, that was... Here he rotates towards the main, and there are 0 tanks. There's 1, right? There's about to be 1 tank, but 1 tank is not going to be good enough. He goes in, denies stim. Stim is denied. Tank is revealed. Going for the other add-on, takes down the reactor as well. Here comes herO. He rotates. He rotates over, pushing towards the natural. He's moving in. And behind this, we don't even need the Dark Shrine. Anytime Dark Shrine. Let's go. GG gets called. GG gets called. And herO will overwhelm. herO will claim the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. This is an example of trying to mind game someone when there is no mind, Bobby, right? Like ByuN, he was trying to fake an all in and fake some cheese. herO did not care. He just went for a standard opener anyway. He was like, whatever. Like, and he called his bluff. Like herO called ByuN's bluff, called it correctly. ByuN behind it because it was behind. He went for hyper greed into a fast OTC, and here he was already just going to 4 blink because he already had an edge. He already had a lead anyway. So even if there wasn't a 3rd CC on the way, it was still going to be a difficult defense there by ByuN. Here he just went for it, just went 4 Blink Stalker, overwhelmed, broke on through. GG. GG, well played. Just again, from the very beginning, just a very shaky start from ByuN. It's the risk you take when you try to mind game early on that hard and didn't quite work out. Again, the production was delayed, everything was lackluster. Fast 3rd CC meant the follow production was also delayed as well, and the upgrades, like, GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations. We will not be able to stop the PvP finals. It is going to be herO and Classic in those grand finals and a best of 5. Oh boy. Let's go. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a short break here, just catching up with the chat. Just catching up. Not a single Terran is having this YouTube chats. Not a single Terran is having fun this season versus Protoss. No matter what you do, Protoss can out macro, Terran can outproduce units. That is not the case. I do want to bring it back to, for example, game one, right? Game one, I do apologize if I misrepresented it, but game one, ByuN was in a better position. And if herO didn't rush into SkyToss, I should have emphasized this fact actually. If herO didn't rush into SkyToss, herO would have been in a worse position, right? Like ByuN had a stronger early game, had a stronger mid game, was going to be the first player to max out as well, the first to push. And if we only had a gateway composition, then herO would have had a really rough time on Ruby Rock. But because he rushed into SkyToss, like that was his way in. That was his way to gain a lead. And it's quite rare to see that rush into SkyToss, I should emphasize. Like ByuN was in the driver's seat initially before losing control of that game. Likewise, I should also mention that for the most part, I think I agree in the sense that a lot of Terran players are embracing a lot of aggression instead. It's either one or the other. It's the two extremes. Either be hyper aggressive with all-ins or be more defensive. And we have seen some Terran players enjoy and actually thrive instead of all-ins. There's certain Terran players that actually have really strong TVP as a result of that. But getting into longer game states is it's very stressful, I would say. It's not easy to approach that kind of style. And we do see some players be successful with that. Players like Clem, players like Cure, players like Maru as well, True, who's very much so known for being able to turtle up and defend and build up in a stronger late game. That is true. Terran players can have stronger late games, but it's very dependent on the mid game. But for now, going to be jumping into our grand finals. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the short break, and we'll see you with those finals, with that best of 5. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the grand finals, those grand finales here of the WardiTV Monday number 80. We've had pretty intense semifinals, and we've had two Protoss players rise up, which is mostly what we expect when it comes to these events. That is Classic and herO. We have our top two Protoss players in the world, Classic versus herO, in a PvP best of 5. Let's go. We're jumping on in. Game 1 is going to be on Tourmaline. Let's go. We've been casting a lot of Tourmaline tonight, in almost every series actually, so very small map, short rush distance background. Let's go. Let us go. Sometime in 30xx. True. Feels bad, man. But yes, May the 4th. I didn't even notice. It's almost over here. But let's go. Let's jump on in. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing T1. It is herO. Let's go. Let's go. It was only recently, actually, related to Star Wars, that I finally got around to watching The Mandalorian, like a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. It's one of those things that, like, there's just so much like Star Wars show content, and so much of it is quite bad that it's something that I put off. But I enjoyed it. Season one was very good. It was, yeah. Which is nice, because there just hasn't really been good Star Wars in a long time. It's and I guess, I mean, to be fair, Mandalorian Season 1 is from quite some time ago at this point. But yeah, it was a breath of fresh air for sure. We're not talking about Season 2. That was rough. So we lost faith once again. No. For now, we're going to be settling in, and welcome to our PvP. Welcome to StarCraft. The other one. For now, 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of Classic. Likewise, 2-gate opener out of herO. herO does set up further back, so it does take a little bit more to scouts, but he does go for the same build overall, just leaving the ramp open. Love the Mandalorian. Yeah, again, big fan of Season 1. Not so much Season 2. I would say, at least in my opinion, Season 2 was below average. It was, yeah. That was rough. Recent start of Season 3, though, and Season 3 is definitely a step in a better direction. But regardless, we're getting into our PvP. For now, we're just setting up. So far, standard openers, nothing really to write home to. Here we're opening up Double Stalker into our eventual expansion on the low ground, into our setup. Yeah, it's true, we did learn that StarCraft was supposed to be Star Wars originally. Yep, that is true. We did learn that. If you didn't tune into the podcast a couple of months ago, for those who don't know, StarCraft was originally going to be a Star Wars RTS. Originally, Blizzard, they were licensed by Lucasfilm, or LucasArts, I should say. And this was originally meant to be a Star Wars RTS. And then LucasArts, they pulled the plug. They pulled out of their agreements. And oh god, as we do get caught out here, better trade by Classic. Still going to be a 1-to-1 trade, but does overall trade better than herO, and almost takes out another Stalker. Almost. But LucasArts, they ended up terminating any projects that they had with game developers after a failed game that they had. So they kind of cut ties with Blizzard. And then Blizzard, after that occurred, they already had all these like sci-fi assets built, and they're like, I mean, we're this far in, we still want to make a sci-fi game. Like, we still want to make like a sci-fi RTS. Like, we already worked on the Star Wars one this far, and then they kind of like turned it into, and then they made their own. They decided to make their own IP. That's when they made StarCraft. Obviously inspired by Warhammer, obviously, but originally it was meant to be a Star Wars game. For those who are unaware, it's a nice little fun fact. There's another universe out there where LucasArts didn't cut ties with Blizzard, and this would have been a Star Wars RTS, which would be crazy. It'd be crazy. Didn't know that. Yeah. It was revealed recently by I think it was during Geekenders. It was like Jesse Cox and Dodger. They had an interview with with an ex Blizzard developer. But they explained that the reason why LucasArts, why they pulled out, is because there was another like separate Star Wars PC game that was released, and it like performed really, really badly, like very, very badly. And when that happened, LucasArts, they got scared, and they were like, "Oh, like we're just pulling out of like all like video games. We're like, well, we're just gonna step out of this, and we're gonna like be a little bit more careful with it, with their IP." This was again like back in the 90s. So they reconsidered their partnership with Blizzard. But there you go. From here, we're both settling into the mid game. We're settling in, we're taking our 2-base saturation, the hero is going to be deflected, and so far we've had a very tame PvP, leaving us time to talk about something else. But I'm a little bit surprised. I should mention that typically PvP between Hero and Classic is very high octane and very aggressive, insanely aggressive, but here just 2 gate openers into our 3rd bases, a little bit of trades here and there, nothing crazy, and we're backing off and saturating. Now from here, we're building up. We do have the early robo, so we have early immortal production out of Hero. So here he's building up a more robust army into a delayed Twilight Council. Meanwhile, Classic, he's going for extra gateways, extra warp-ins into extra aggression early on, into earlier blink. So Classic has momentum, Classic has map control, and Classic is going to be the aggressing player here by proxying across the map. 2-base all in. 2-base all in at a Classic, he sends it. Hero, he does already have a defensive setup here with these Immortals, and if Hero can survive this initial onslaught, Hero will outscale Classic. So Hero is the defender, Classic is the aggressor. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, as we do bait. Oh, we bait the blink. Ah, no punish though. Yeah, no punish there out of Hero. Classic moves in, does lock down 2 Stalkers, gets 1, gets 2. Ooh, nice catch. Very nice catch at the Classic. Ooh. Catch yet another. Catching out 3 Stalkers. Again, ideally, Classic, he wants those Immortals. Prism has arrived. Hero, he can now counter micro. He can now lift. He can lift, he can juggle. Classic expands behind this, claiming his 3rd. This shows us that Classic, he sees this army and he doesn't believe he can break it. Sees the heavy Immortal counts. And Classic, he backs off, takes a 3rd base, and takes up into charge. So Classic is building up in towards the mid game. Hero not too far behind with his own 3rd base timing though. Okay. Breaks out, claims his 3rd. Good positioning here by Hero to be able to break out. And now we're embracing the mid game. Now, my concern here is that I do favor Hero in a head-on fight with the added extra Immortals. Blink is now done. Charge is only halfway complete. There's a window in time here where Classic is vulnerable. He has pure Stalker against Stalker Immortal. And here comes Hero. Yeah, we spoke about this, where Classic was all in and he had to get some damage done, otherwise he'd be outscaled, and now he's being outscaled. Oh. Does wing forward. He dives in. Nice snipe. Very nice snipe. He does get one of the Prism. He does get the Immortal as well. Massive pickups. He gets 1. He gets 2. He's going to get all 3. He does snipe all 3 Immortals, but in the process, did bleed out a lot of Stalkers. Hero, he's ahead in Stalkers. Just barely. But he cannot break through. Yeah, he cannot break through here. Again, Hero caught out of position. If it wasn't for that dive, then Hero would have been able to reinforce the Immortals. It would have been behind the Stalkers instead, but Hero was exposed. Here he was exposed. The pants were down. Classic makes up for his deficit. Now suddenly Classic takes the lead. Classic has charge. Yeah, charge, they'll stay our ideal here when it comes to tanking. They bait out shots. Do tank well. Ooh, blinks into more reinforcements. Once again, the Prism goes down for the 2nd time, but he gets surrounded. Yeah, Classic overextends, and Hero does punish. Massive pickoff, massive catch here, catching out every single Stalker. And with that, Hero takes a massive Stalker lead. 15 Stalkers to 3. Ay, ay, ay. Only 3 Stalkers left. Hero, he can keep pushing. Classic is hurting. Yeah, some heavy losses for Classic. He's down in workers as well. Wasn't making any probes. Hero, he has full 3-base saturation. Oh my god. Getting up to full 3-base saturation. Again, Classic, he was cutting worker production. He was that much more committed, that much more all in. And here he'll soon close it out, just waiting for Glaives. Glaives are on the way. For those who are curious, Glaive Adepts are kind of an alternative to Charge Lots, except they don't really scale well into a longer kind of 3 and 4 base saturation. So this does have more of like an expiration date. But herO doesn't intend for the game to last much longer. We're just going massive Glaive Adepts. And we're just gonna send it. And again, Classic, he needs more time to build up his economy, to rebuild his army, to get a 4th base, to take up, like, he's just crippled from earlier. This is more of a kill shot from herO. So herO does move out. Commits, likewise shading on top of the army, catching up all the zealots, and now we just keep pushing. Now we just keep on pushing forward, and it's just a numbers game at this point. herO, he does overwhelm, he snowballs out of control, shading on top of the army, and we're down to a handful of stalkers. We've got 8 stalkers left, shading into the mineral lines, more probes going down, and Classic's just being he's just being torn apart. It's being torn apart, cannot keep up. Oof. GG gets called. GG gets called. herO overwhelms, and herO takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. An intense back and forth here. Again, initially, I would say that Classic had the advantage. Classic, he was able to move out across the map. He was able to apply pressure. We saw that herO survived, defended with his immortals. He broke out instead, and then herO got caught. He lost all 3 immortals and the War Prism as well. They were very, very nice catches from Classic, but he had to keep going. He had to keep going from there. In the end, Classic, he eventually was overwhelmed. He got caught in the center. He blinked forward and got surrounded, and it was Classic that got caught with his pants down. GG. They're all down. GG, well played. With that, herO does take the first game, and now we're going to be loading to game number 2. Again, a very chaotic mid-game there from both herO and Classic. We'll see how we adjust loading into that second game. We'll see what we load into. Where are we dropping? Game 2 is going to be on Winter Madness, a much larger map. Larger map. Because it's larger, though, that means there's also more places to proxy. More proxy locations. More shenanigans abound, I'm sure. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing T1. Oh, leading the series 1-0. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss player himself. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Let us go, as we are going to be opening up. We're going to be settling in. Here we go. From here, we're going to be settling in. And once again, we're setting up our gateways back at home. It's going to be a 2-gate setup initially here. No one is cutting corners. No one is going for a gate, a cyber expand. I do expect to see some greedier builds at some point in this series, whether it's game 3, game 4. At some point, we expect to see them vary things up. Classic does veer off towards the right-hand side with his probe. You have my attention. We'll see if this is real or a fake proxy pylon. Bearing in mind that herO is inside of the main base, and here he is counting pylons. He knows that a pylon is going to be missing, and he's going to know ahead of time that there is a pylon out on the map. But whether it's real or fake, it's going to be up to herO to determine that as well. We can see that Classic is staying on patrol. Based on this proxy location, it looks like either a proxy Stargate or a fake out. It does look a little bit too far away for a proxy robo. Typically, robos are closer to your opponents. But we'll see. For now, we're waiting for the Cyber Core. Waiting for the Cyber Core to finish. Again, we're leaning towards Stargate play, but show us what you got. As we're waiting for the gas. Probe does pull out. We can see herO does scout on the left-hand side. And there it is. There is the Stargate. So proxy Stargate at a classic. Here he's checking the more standard proxy locations here on the left-hand side. And he's looking for the robo. herO knows that there's something out there, and how does he react? Does he go for a safety robo on one base, or does he expand? Does he find him? Ah, he's so close. Look, he's so close. Yeah, here he does scout the right-hand side, but barely does not go far enough. Stalkers, they move out on the right-hand side as well. Once again, checking the more standard locations that are closer. And he does go for the robo. Oof, he does get faked out. Going for a robo on one base. This is a very defensive build. It's hyper defensive here. This is a reaction to what should be a proxy robo one base all in. Now, because of the third gateway, herO, he's basically turning this defense into an offense, and he's turning this into his own all-in instead. Does find it. Does confirm. Does confirm the Stargate. Going for the pylon. I believe the Oracle should still pop out in time. It's going to be close, but it will pop. The Oracle does pop out. Pylon will fall. More Stalkers have arrived. And can we focus on the Oracle? Ooh, does get a Stalker. Not bad. Stalker does go down. Remember, Classic, he did invest into an expansion. Classic does get the second Stalker. Nice pickoff. Classic overwhelming. But remember, herO has 3 gateways and the robo. herO, he's one base all in. It's going to be delayed because it's from back at home. There's no proxy for herO. But he does catch the army. Yeah, it takes down one of the Stalkers. Oh, takes down 2. They trade 2 for 2. Classic back at home, getting a second battery, going for his own defensive robo, his own defensive immortal production. Stargate is depowered, so no defensive void rays or additional oracles. And can Classic hold on? herO, he's getting his own immortal as well. War Prism has arrived. herO, he can always juggle into the main. He's getting a sentry as well. Cheeky moves. Oracle is deflected, and herO has a force field. Does have a force field. Army gets revealed. Classic now knows. You can see Classic rotate. Rotating into the main. And we'll see how we use that force field. Based on the warp ends, looks like we are ideally going to be force fielding either in the immortal or force field out the immortal instead. Can we look him in? He can't. Oh, not yet. Doesn't go for it. Here he respects the force field. Likewise, there's 3 batteries on the low ground. herO drops into the main. Does go for the orbit as well. There's no batteries. Yeah, no batteries in the main base. Boys are being pulled. Guardian shield gets activated. And can herO break through the immortal? Oh my god, clutch juggling. Very clutch juggling. Does maintain that immortal a little bit longer. herO, he's breaking through. Takes down the mineral line. 16 probe kills. Oh my god, the immortal finally goes down. But he wants the prism. He wants him. Yeah, the prism does get within range of the battery. Battery does hold, does survive, and herO's being forced out. Oof, he's being forced out of the main. herO barely does not break through. He does reset the mineral line. Classic down to 11 probes. Oh my god. Classic barely having an economy. And herO, he's just ensuring there is no economy. Yeah, he's going for the mineral line. Probes are going down. There's barely any to begin with. Still 11 probes left. Does herO just expand? Do we just macro from here? Okay. I mean, Classic is making 2 probes at a time. He at least can. So Classic can recover economically eventually. And herO, he has what, double the probe count. Catching another. Catching another worker. Okay, nice control out of herO. Prism into the main. herO's ready. Oh, we'll beat out a Stalker. And 1 Stalker goes down. Ideally, he wants that War Prism. Prism does get away. Prism does escape. And we're going to calm down and we're going to reset. From here, by the time that herO gets his natural up and running, Classic, I believe, will be caught up in workers. So we're catching up more or less in workers. We do see a Stargate here by herO getting to Phoenix production. Phoenix will help. It's a secure way to shut down the Warp Prism and to lift the Immortals as well. So tech-wise, I do favor herO as he can afford the Stargate and can afford the Phoenix. Shout out to that one probe. Tasing away. Will he kill the next? Will he kill the Stargate eventually? Can he get him? So far the Prism does keep him busy. Twilight Council's on the way, working towards Blink. The Oracle is going to get caught out. Nice catch out of herO. He catches the Oracle. Oof. Another Phoenix on the way. Again, Classic is in trouble here. Tech-wise, I mean. Like, he's still stuck on 2 bases. He's still down in workers. Classic needs something to recover in this game. Like DTs or depth run bys, depth counterattacks. Spikes in. Just getting a scout off. Ooh, herO working towards Glaives. He's going for 2-base play. Hyper aggressive. Claiming his third. Okay, hero's building up. But again, it's going to have a very strong Glaive Adept timing. Throwing down more gateways. Classic has to babysit that Warp Prism. He's got to babysit. Ooh, herO does take an extra hit. Yeah, it does take an extra shot to the face. Getting his third. Once again, working towards Glaives. We spoke about this in the last game, how Glaive Adepts, they usually don't scale well to a longer game. They lead towards a very strong timing attack. Which is what herO is working towards. As he's building up a very heavy Immortal Adept army. No Stalkers. Or minimal Stalkers. So here he does get in, does bypass the army. 3, 4, 5 probes going down. Nice damage. Phoenixes, they get away. Remember, there's no blink. Remember, Twilight Council's late. Because of the early game, because of lack of economy, Phoenixes, they just fly away. And herO, he's about to move out. Here he comes. herO, he has 5 Immortals. Ay, ay, ay. Here he spots the army. He hasn't scouted the third. If he was fully aware of this, then he would just push. Just waiting for another warp in. And then it'll be go time. Again, there's a very hefty army for herO. Adepts are ideal at tanking. Ideal at tanking. And we just passed by each other. Uh-oh. There we go, he sees. Just what the army. Threads a shade. herO looking for a better angle. Does force within the army. Blink is now done. Classic does blink away. Classic pulls out. herO giving chase. There will be some defensive batteries. We have 2 batteries on the way here at the natural. Sorry, at the third. We have 3 at the natural. And soon we can just shade. Now, ideally, Classic force fields the ramp and zones away the Immortals. That'd be the ideal. To try to fight with the Immortals not really taking part. Speaking of, force fields catch out a Stalker. Nice force fields. Classic buying more time. Oh. Here it does shade. Does not commit in. Once again, losing 3 more adepts. Sorry, 2, 3, 3. Here we're getting caught up, but he commits. Oh, he commits into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. And the Immortals, they push forward. Yeah, they do move in. Once again, nice force fields though. herO, he cannot push forward. Can't push into the bases. The Adepts, they actually shade behind the army. They go for the Immortals. They go for the sentries. And sentries are going down. No more force fields. herO, he breaks on through. Breaks down the front door. Shuts down the sentries. The Immortals, they can move in. And he overwhelms. herO, he overwhelms the army. There's just not enough here. He can't keep up. Not against 5 Immortals. There's too many. Yeah, too many Immortals. Immortal goes down. Stalkers as well. He blinks into the army. Desperation of the classic. Desperation. Oh my god. And with that, herO will take a 2-0 lead. GG. GG, well played, herO. He snowballs out of control, does break through, and will take that lead. Whew. Once again, it was very chaotic early game with herO being terrified about an all-in and just basically just turning his own build into a one-base all-in instead. He was able to punish Classic, catch him out. Classic had he had a very secure position on the low ground at the natural, but the main base was exposed. The main base was exposed. herO, he found a way in. He was able to cripple the economy. Remember, he killed 16 probes. Classic, he only had 11 workers left at the end of the aggression, and he fell behind. He was down in economy, he was down in army as a result, and behind in tech. He was behind in every aspect. herO just ran with it. GG. GG, well played. With that, herO, he's up at 2-0, and now we have our next game going to be on White Rabbit. herO, he's 1 game away from claiming the series, otherwise Classic can recover and start the comeback. Let's go. I'm hoping for a back and forth here, but the pressure is on Classic. Pressure's on. Yo, shout out to STD Mega, papi. STD Mega. Bienvenidos. My go lights. We'll go cast this week's WardiTV as it's running at the moment. No. Empieza muy tarde. Empieza muy tarde. Too late, papi. Too late. Oh, but here we go. Here we go. We're catching up here with our next game, and spawning in the bottom-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the other South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Let's go. The Pro finished killing the Stargate. Yeah. That Pro was an animal, back. True. Was an animal. As herO does move out early on. Oh my, wait, hello? What's going on? He gets scouted. herO being cheeky, trying to proxy inside of the natural, but Classic does check, does confirm. The boys are being pulled, and this should not get up and running. Or it shouldn't really come to fruition. The boys are on patrol. herO zoned away, forced to cancel. Is a okay. I was gonna say single gate opener. Second gateway is heavily delayed, actually. Disrupted build out of Classic. Interesting. herO going 1 gate. So gate, cyber, expand, greedy build by herO, and a messy build by Classic. But Classic is still going 2 gates, and he is still building up to a more aggressive start. If Classic realizes what's going on, he can 1 base all in. The issue though, late scout. Because of this, because of the early aggression, because of the pylon, it's a later scout by Classic, and herO, does he sneak out with that Nexus? What does he go? I mean, he went for the second gas. Okay. So it looks like Stargate into Nexus, not Nexus first. Seems to be the case. herO, he has the minerals though. Goes into warp gate, and he will get the Nexus. Okay, so gate, cyber, expand. We have hyper greed here out of herO, and Classic does scout, and typically we expect Classic to react with the 1 base all in. That should be the reaction, but there is no proxy setup. No shot Classic plays from behind. herO, he's still scouting with that probe, still checking for a Nexus. Classic, what's the plan? He expands. Okay. He's setting up for the Nexus. And there's some moving out. And the pressure's on herO to recover economically, as he is behind. There's the delayed Nexus. Hallucination confirms. Now herO knows there's no one base all in. Adepts are on the way. Bearing in mind, 2 adepts can one-shot probes. They can one-shot. Shade's in. Shade is denied. Here we go. As here we go, it is going to be a Stargate follow-up, of course. Stargate most likely into Oracles to get economic damage done. Classic going for earlier Blink instead. So there's going to be an earlier Blink timing available. Until then, Classic still threatening these Shades. Classic is still behind economically, but he can commit to the Shade and he can threaten that mineral line. Classic has potential. Does spot the probes. He commits. He gets one. He gets one, and he doesn't get 2 force fields. They lock him in. There we go. Second probe goes down. He gets 2 probes for 1 adept. Do we get a second? Does. It does catch a second adept here, so 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Classic setting up for the proxy. How many gateways? 2 back at home. Do we get a third across the map? Looks like we will. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Proxy Dark Shrine. Bold move here by Classic. Bold move. This can kill. This can kill. Now, thankfully for herO, remember, he opened up Oracle. Oh, he's going to throw it away. herO's staying a lot of hull damage here. Does barely pull out. He goes further in. He's crazy. No, the herO. Oh my god. 4 probes. Gets 4 probes, keeps the Oracle alive, and the Oracle can use Revelation to reveal said DTs if we keep it alive. So there is a form of detection. Dark Shrine is halfway done. We need that Oracle back at home. Without it, DTs can end the game. They can deal critical damage. Remember, there is no Robo. Adept Shades into the mineral line. Nice defense. The Oracle's still across the map. It's still locked down. Dark Shrine is almost done. And herO still has no idea. Oh no. Does he have energy for a recall? He does. Does have energy. Okay, does recall back home. Recalls back home. Does he have the DCs? He knows. Yeah, now he sees, now he knows. herO pulls away. The Oracle does land 1 Revelation on 1 DT. Does catch 1, but the other does slip in. And the DT even escapes as well. Oof, waste of Revelation. Do we have another? We do. Okay, another Revelation. Still gets 1, 2, 3 probes. Whew, but that could have been so much worse. That could have been so much worse. The third base is still delayed though. Delays the third, it kills the pylon. There's another Revelation. More DTs are warping in. More Dark Templar. Defensive cannons on the way. And again, because this herO should have already had a third base, but now there's no third, and Classic takes a lead. Does take lead in terms of third. Pylon goes down. We'll clean this up. And herO, how many gateways are we on? 4. Okay. He does have at least 4 gateways, so he does have excess gateways for reinforcements to try to push across the map. herO does have the larger army. He does have how many? He has 16 Stalkers to 6 Stalkers of Classic. So far it's been good damage, and Classic does take an economic lead, but can he maintain it? Can he deal with the army that herO has to deal with now? To work with, I should say. herO moves out. He's up by 10 Stalkers. Classic, he needs those force fields. He's warping in. He's hallucinating as well. He needs to. He has to bait out some shots. herO commits in. Getting his own hallucinations as well. Let's go. If they're tanking shots, they're working. And shots are being tanked. Dives on the main army, and herO, he's overwhelming. Yeah, there's just too much here. There's too much here. Back at him, there are cannons. The cannons, they defend. DTs, they do nothing. It was a big risk, a big gamble. More Stalkers being focused down. GG gets called, and herO, he will claim the series 3-0, becoming this week's, or the WardiTV Monday number 80 champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, herO with the 3-0. Impressive performance here by herO. Again, a lot of chaos, a lot of aggression. Here in game number 3, we saw that Classic, he had a really disrupted start, if you remember. He had a late second gateway, he had a late scout across the map. He realized that herO was being greedy, and his response was go for a later expansion into a Dark Shrine. Now, if herO didn't have a Stargate, if he didn't have a Robo, that could have been game-ending damage, but herO did have the Stargate. He had the Oracle across the map, he recalled back home in time, and he had those revelations available. Again, it's a big risk, a big gamble. Basically, Classic was hoping that there was no Stargate, that there was no Robo, that there wouldn't be any detection, and we have seen players like MaxPax, herO, and Classic insta-GG. We've seen them insta-GG and just lose games to DTs and PvP. It happens. Not this time. Not this time. Just a big gamble. Didn't quite pay off. GG, well played. Congratulations. herO does claim the series, and we did see a wide array for herO. Some aggression, some all-in, some 2-base play as well. Game 1 was much more mid-game oriented, surprisingly so. Game 2 was very chaotic as well, knocking Classic down to 11 probes. Always a lot of chaos, always a lot of aggression with these two. I appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Always fun casting herO and Classic face-off. Congratulations. Congratulations to herO as it also claimed the series. And again, a shout out to Classic for making it to the finals and for making a series out of it, or for making work for it and for having a chaotic back and forth regardless. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are going to be wrapping up here for the night. If you're curious about the rest of our schedule, the rest of our broadcast, again, we do cast the WardiTV Mondays on a weekly basis here. We have the rest of our week's schedule ahead of us. This is last week's schedule, so our schedule is quite similar. For those who don't know, GSL did begin last week, and we were live casting GSL over on Soup. Soup is Africa TV. Africa TV did rebrand as Soup. It is a Korean streaming platform, and GSL can only be live streamed on Soup. So we were casting it live last week, and as you can see here, you can see 4 GSL logos on the schedule. The live streams are on Wednesday and Thursday. The VODs are rebroadcasted on YouTube on Saturday and Sunday. So the VODs are rebroadcasted over the weekend, 48 hours later. It is a restriction. It is a restriction, of course, where we cannot actually rebroadcast the VOD from Soup until 48 hours after the live event. That's why the rebroadcast is over the weekend. Just as a heads up. So again, if you want to watch our live coverage of GSL, it is going to be live over on Soup. Exclamation mark Soup in the chat if you want to get a link to our Soup channel. Otherwise, again, the rebroadcast will be over the weekend. Meanwhile, we also have Tunic Cup. Tunic Cup is going to be this Tuesday, tomorrow. Tomorrow evening is going to be Tunic Cup. Usually Tunic Cups are over the weekend, but what else is over the weekend? RSL. RSL is over the weekend, and we don't want to clash with RSL, so due to RSL taking over the Saturday and Sunday evening time slots, that is why we did decide to reschedule Tunic Cup to Tuesday instead, to make sure we don't clash. We don't clash with RSL or with GSL or with Kung Fu Cup or anything else. So we do have that tomorrow in 24 hours time is going to be Tunic Cup. We also have the rebroadcast, or sorry, the replay cast of Pegasus Cup tomorrow morning. Bear that in mind. We're also going to be covering that, and also the rest of the week we do have StarCraft Evolution. We have the SCL doubles tournament on Friday. We have the Pawncast on Friday as well. We have Sea Duckling Open over the weekend, and we have some more Euthermal 2v2 circuits over the weekend as well. Bearing in mind, we don't cast the Euthermal circuit, but we do actually cover we do run the event. We run the event. We admin the tournaments. We work behind the scenes on the circuit, just as a heads up. Otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Our next broadcast is going to be in around 12 hours time with Pegasus Cup number 76. Oh boy. So we'll see you soon. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow in 12 hours, or we'll see you in just under 24 hours with the Tunic Cup. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis, so you can help us grow our Sparkling Tunic Cup even further. Tunic Cup is kind of like the WardiTV Monday or Pegasus Cup or the Kung Fu Cup or KSL. It's an open tournament. It's actually the longest running open tournament out there. Tunic Cup has been running longer than any other open tournaments in the current ecosystem of StarCraft 2. So if you want to support us, you can do so via the Patreon, as all that money goes towards growing the prize pool of our tournaments. So you can help us out there. Otherwise, you can also support us by following us on all the socials. Again, Soup for GSL live coverage, YouTube for all the VOD content, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to be notified when we go live. Discord as well, also to be notified and interact outside of just the game, or outside of just the cast. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for the support. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm starving. It's 10 p.m. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna go get some dinner. I'm gonna go look after my pet bunnies, and we'll be back in 12 hours with Pegasus Cup. Until then, thanks for watching. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time. Ciao, papi, ciao.